Videotech.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Return to Videotech, the show where two dinguses dig into the movies we love and share our affection and possible addiction to physical media with you. On this episode, we're putting a spotlight on the final installment in what we here at Return to Videotech consider the greatest trilogy in superhero cinematic history, The Dark Knight Rises. I'm Keith, and with me as always is my friend, co-host, and procurer of 4K Blu-rays and fancy clothing, Matt. How's it going, dude?
Wow, that's right. Quite an intro. Good to be here. Good to be back. A little bit of a summer wrap-up episode following the scorching, hockier summer. So probably a little bit more of a summer wind down as we head into the fall season. Since you're friends with a bunch of the horror people, I feel like we're heading into the mecca of their time of the year.
Oh yeah, people in my group chat are already talking about putting their Halloween decor out and their Halloween mats and probably carving pumpkins soon.
I did go to the beer store today and just picked up, like, I always get like a few different, like, Oktoberfest, and like Dogfish had like pumpkin this time of the year, but I do hate it that it's August. Like, I know that it's out, so I'm gonna go get it and start putting it in the fridge, but it's like still 85 degrees out. I mean, it's not, you need that fall crisp air for those types of beers, and it's just like, it really pains me to buy that stuff when I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm not like a pumpkin guy. Like I don't do pumpkin spice. I don't do the
Mhm.
pumpkin beer, but I do love the fall vibe. I do Oktoberfest beers
Yeah.
sometimes are pretty good, but
Yeah, I like Oktoberfest a lot. I'm actually with you. So I mostly don't like pumpkin beers because most of them are like too pumpkin-y. But the Dogfish Head Pumpkin Ale I would buy every year. And I actually got into a discussion with the lady at the beer store about it, 'cause she's like, "Oh, Dogfish Head, I've never had their stuff." She's like, I don't think I'd like it or whatever." And I was like, "Well, I do buy their pumpkin every year, but the last couple of years they've been putting it out in cans, and it's definitely not as good. It used to always just be bottles exclusively."
oh yeah, you
Um,
need a bottle for something with a weird pumpkin flavor.
yeah. But theirs is a nice, like, subtle, like, it's definitely got a pumpkin flavor, but it's not like that. You take a sip of it, and you're like, whoa, like,
Mhm.
so I get theirs every year, but I just kept it simple, just a 6-pack. But I don't know. I got back and I was carrying like 3 different 6-packs, and I told Lindsay, I'm like, well, we got to go back because I couldn't carry the Trogs Oktoberfest, which we've liked the last 2 years. There was a bunch of other stuff. It's a good season for beer people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yes, you to my surprise, out of nowhere, was like, "Hey, we're gonna have a contest," and I was like,
Yeah.
Okay."
Yeah, I don't really know what sparked it. Just kind of, I guess some of my other buddies who do YouTube and stuff have been doing some giveaways for like milestones of reaching a certain number of subscribers or
Yeah.
hitting the 1 year mark on YouTube or something. And we've been talking about doing something like that. But we were coming up on 300 and we just surpassed it. I think we're at like 306 or 307 now. So
All right.
yeah, we decided to do a little giveaway. We got 3 movies to give away. Friendship, which was hilarious. I don't know. Did you see Friendship yet?
I haven't yet, but I do love that dude and his comedy.
Tim
So
Robinson.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's on
I
the short list to watch. And in fact, we can't talk too much about it, but Lindsay, like, really wanted to win Friendship, but I was like, listen, you can't. Yeah, it's not fair.
that's a little yeah. That's like insider trading or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be mailing you a copy of Friendship.
Which, by the way, you probably would just do anyway.
Oh yeah, if you wanted to, if you really wanted that movie, I would send it to you. I think it's good.
But we want someone to win it that's
Yeah,
like a
we want.
listener that doesn't live in one of our 2 houses.
Yeah, yeah. So this is just a way for us to say thank you to everybody who is tuned in and checked us out on YouTube or Spotify or Apple. So yeah, we're saying thank you. So I guess we'll just start off. Normally we start off by talking about a movie that, because we're physical media collectors, we normally talk about a movie that's like been sitting on the shelf for a while, still in the shrink wrap or a blind buy. We're still gonna do that, but before we do that, in this episode, we're gonna pick a name real quick. We got the little wheel up. Hopefully you're seeing it right now. So we have all these names here. Most of these came from Instagram, the post that I posted, but a couple of you guys responded on a YouTube short video, which was it's the same video. But so basically, I'll just say if you win and you're from Instagram, I'll just message you. But if you're one of these two guys from YouTube and you win, you're gonna have to get on Instagram and message me there. Um, but I guess we can cross that bridge when we get to it. So,
Wow.
Matt, are you ready to spin the wheel for the first time?
I am, but if by asking if I'm ready to do something, I'm actually not doing anything, right?
Are you ready to tell me to spin the wheel?
I am. All
Okay.
right, Keith, wind
All
that
right.
puppy up.
All right. Here we go. Winner number one.
It's like jutted for me, so I'm. It's like I can't really see it spinning clearly, so I'm not
Oh, we got we have our first winner,
okay.
Joel Villarreal,
Oh wow!
36.
Obviously,
And
a
I
fan of
recognize him.
Villarreal Football Club.
I recognize Joel from Instagram. So Joel, I will message you, and you will have your pick of the three movies. So I guess I didn't I didn't explain this, but Matt and I were talking about it before the show. I didn't really think this giveaway through completely. So basically, I think the way we're gonna do it is Joel will get the first pick of the three movies. Then, so after this next segment where we just talk about movies we've seen in theaters or whatever, we'll spin the wheel again, and the second winner will get to pick from the two that are left over. And then after that segment, before we get to the spotlight, hopefully you guys have had fun listening to us jabber on about movies and whatnot, that you'll decide to continue listening. But at that point, we'll spin the wheel for the third time, and that person will get whatever the third movie is that's left over. So
The
hopefully
rules
that works out. If there's an issue, we'll work it out on Instagram.
very loosey goosey with this whole thing. I'm sure people are like angry with you right now because listen, I don't remember what your instructions were, but I could tell the way that people were the way they were interpreting the instructions were that they say which movie they wanted.
All right. Well, hopefully it works out that way. If it doesn't, I'll make it good.
Yeah.
If Joel says he wants Deep Blue Sea because they probably everybody wants Deep Blue Sea, Joel will get
Why
Deep Blue
wouldn't you?
Sea. And then and then if say the second and third person both wanted Deep Blue Sea and they don't want Funny Games, I'll get you guys a copy of Deep Blue Sea. We'll work it out.
We'll send you some return to Videotech stickers too. People are
Yeah.
like, I
Oh, we
want
got a
that
stack of
shit.
stickers too. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
All right.
Um.
So one winner so
So
far.
that's it for the first spin the wheel. Yeah, let's move on to in the shrink wrap slash. No, we're not doing that. We're going to what you've seen in the theater or just you have a story to tell. So Matt, tell the story.
Well, in lieu of seeing anything in the theater or physical media roundup, which I do have one thing, I'll just share it real quick. I got the 4K of my beloved Sunset Boulevard. I actually got a copy of the Blu-ray like last year. This is another one of the movies that I waited forever to buy, and finally I was just like, all right, you know what? I've been waiting forever for them to upgrade it. I'm just going to buy the Blu-ray. I bought it at Orbit DVD in Asheville, North Carolina, and then of course within a year they're like, nope, here comes the 4K. So I was like, well, all right, I guess I've been boned again. Just buying the same movies over and over, but I do love Sunset Boulevard, directed by Billy Wilder. I will wax poetic about it someday, but this is not that day. Today,
That's on
Keith.
my list of shame. I know I need to see that. I know it's like a highly acclaimed movie. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's black and white, but it's like it. It's a very layered movie, and we just have to discuss it once you watch it. I don't really want to get into it without you having a chance to, you know, just dive in. So
Okay.
I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my travel woes, which is probably one of the reasons why I haven't been to the theater or been buying movies. Lindsay and I had a trip to Yellowstone National Park, and of course, we live in Pittsburgh, where you can't get to anywhere directly unless you're trying to get to a major northeast city. So we had to connect through Chicago. Highly anticipated trip for us. We both had kind of a crazy year, and we haven't really traveled much this year. So we were looking forward to it. It's been busy, stressful. We're looking forward to just being out in the mountains by no one and just silence and just taking in the sights. We get to the airport on a lovely Wednesday morning, I think, or Thursday morning, and it's beautiful outside. It's 8:30 in the morning. I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna be good. Now, normally, Keith, I book the ass crack 6 a.m. flights because it's like your best chance to not get delayed. If you're on the first flight of the day, it's like your best chance not to get delayed. So that's normally what I book. But we made the conscious decision to not book the earliest flight because every time we do that, we get up at like 2:30 in the morning to get ready to go, and you just get to the place that you're trying to get to, and you just feel like ugh, you just feel like shit, and you power through that first day. You get drunk and pass out at like 7:30 at night. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, let's sleep a little bit. Let's have like a little bit of a normal schedule. We normally get up at like 6 to go for a run or walk before work anyway. So 8:30 flight, that was like pretty normal for us. But get that at the gate. I'm like, it's bright, beautiful, sunny out, and no plane at the gate. No notification or anything that it was delayed. But then they just make the announcement, oh yeah, we don't have a plane. It's maybe delayed due to weather in another area, or maybe there's a part problem. They weren't really clear. And then they say, hey, we did find you a plane, but we don't have a crew. So it's like, okay, we're connecting through Chicago. We're missing the connection. There's no chance. Next, I call American. We're already like distraught. We didn't want to lose a day on this vacation. Right? We didn't want to lose time. And the people at American are like, we can't get you on a flight out of Chicago until the next day now. I'm like, oh, great. So now I'm like, it's the morning. I'm like, we have to kill a whole day. And we're like, I'm going to lose like whatever, shy of $1,000 for the place that I rented out for a day. I'm just going to lose that money. And she's like, yeah. It's like, okay. Not a lot of sympathy there, but we end up talking to the gate agent, and he's like, "Oh, well, we could get you on another airline. I'm gonna try not to bury the people specifically, but like, we can get you on another airline, and you can leave today, but the flight's not until 4:30." So we get out of Chicago, or we get out of Pittsburgh, land in Chicago, wait 3 or 4 hours for that flight. I have my boarding passes up. I'm a member of like every airline because I used to travel a lot for work, so I have like perks and memberships with pretty much all the major airlines. I
Mm-hmm.
have my boarding pass and Lindsay's boarding pass. She volunteers to gate check her bag. They're like, "Oh, yep, Lindsay X on this flight. Here's your little thing to the ticket to put on your bag to gate check it." Then she goes to board and they scan her boarding pass and like, "Oh no, you're voided. You can't get on this plane because you're voided." So Lindsay calls me up and the lady's explaining, "Oh yeah, well, you were voided from the last flight or whatever that was booked through another airline, so you have to call them." And I'm like, "Listen, lady, I'm a member of your airline, okay? I have these boarding passes. We came here on the same flight. Like, you gotta, like, you're telling me you won't let us on?" And she's like, "Well, no, your ticket's fine. You could get on." And I'm like, "This is my wife. Do you know the seven hells that would rain down on me?" No, I was like getting like kind of pissed, but I'm maintaining my composure. And she's like, "Yeah, she's just voided. You guys would have to call the other airline." And I'm like, "Listen, you guys are boarding right now. You think we're going to sort out whatever this is?" Now I'm convinced there was a piece that I left out of the story, which is when we finally boarded to go to Chicago, the ticket scanners were down. So they're taking our tickets manually. I'm convinced that they didn't know Lindsay was on the flight with me and they canceled her whole flight because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we're not getting on. They're not letting us on this plane. And at one point, I said to this lady, "I'm like, call your manager. Can I buy a ticket?" Because there were still seats. There were still seats available. I was like, "Call your manager. I will pay any amount of money.
I
I will
will
pay
literally
any
give you
amount of
this
money
microphone.
for a ticket on this plane." And she calls, and she's like, Can they buy a ticket?" And they're just like, "No, because the plane's departing." Hold on, let me get this mic back in place. Um, yeah, they're just like, no. So I'm like defeated at this point. I call the original airline back, and they're like, "Okay, well, we can get you back on to the next day's flight." And it's like, well, so now we're gonna have to stay in Chicago. The worst part about this is, if we had actually gotten there early and just planned for the next day, even though that would have sucked, we would have spent the day in Chicago. Like, we love Chicago, but now it's 7 o'clock at night. It's like that, O'Hare's hotels are like a hike to get into town. So now we're just staying at some random courtyard Marriott, eating a flatbread, and just staying in the most lame ass way possible.
Hmm.
We get there, have a great trip. So we do get there the next day, have a great trip, have a great time. We lost a day and it sucks, but everything, beautiful weather, beautiful time. I ate very well, saw some, beautiful sights of both Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons, and it was a great time. Then we go to leave Jackson Hole Airport. And once again, beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, just sunshine. In Chicago, we're connecting back through Chicago, weather in Chicago again. We're delayed 2 or 3 hours in the airport or whatever. They're not letting any flights into Chicago. I'm like, what the hell? I get my rebooking notice, Keith, and it's already like not like we're getting into Pittsburgh that night. The rebooking is okay, you'll get to Chicago, you'll stay in Chicago again. You'll fly to Charlotte in the morning, and then you'll have a 12-hour layover and then fly to Pittsburgh. So that's our rebooking. Which,
At
by the
least
way,
it was in Charlotte where you have family.
so there's some silver lining to it all. I mean,
I
but
saw
this
your
is,
post.
yeah, I guess on in line with the themes of the Dark Knight Rises. It's like, this whole thing of the wealthy, just these big corporations like firing everybody. This has really worked out for the consumer. Like, and look, weather with flights is a risk. It's going to happen. But the fact that it's like this is what I'm rebooked for, like this is now a 2 full day journey. Like it's just insane. Um, but
Okay, well, you got to at least tell the people that are still here and haven't checked out yet that you watched The Dark Knight Rises on the plane, right?
I did watch The Dark Knight Rises on the plane. I watched The Dark Knight Rises on the plane, and I got ready for this episode. But wait, Keith, there's more.
Okay,
Uh,
continue.
So when we're flying to Chicago, the flight midway diverted to Kansas City because the weather was back in Chicago. I don't know if
Oh,
you
yeah.
felt severe thunderstorms. It was only a couple hours from you. What? It
We
was
we had
Monday.
some pretty bad storms last week.
Yeah, yeah, it
I
was
don't know if it was
Monday.
the same day, but yeah.
Probably. I mean, it had to be your area, but
Yeah.
so we're diverted to Kansas City for like 3 or 4 hours. Then we get back on the plane, land in Chicago at like midnight, get
Mhm.
that same damn crappy hotel, and come back at 4 or 5 in the morning to fly to Charlotte. Finally, everything's going smoothly. We take off, or we're getting ready to take off for Charlotte, and then we're delayed on the tarmac for 2 hours because the plane was overfueled. I'm like, it takes 2 hours to take some gas out of the damn thing. But yes, to your point, we did land in Charlotte. My parents picked us up, went swimming, spent one lovely day in Charlotte before having a normal flight back to Pittsburgh. And listen, my friend, I would love to come visit you, but I am like I can't
No more
do
flights.
yeah, not for a while. Although
You're
we are,
just driving everywhere.
we are flying back to Charlotte in September, and Lindsay was like, "Can we cancel that trip?"
Well, I'm
And I'm
sorry.
like,
That sucks.
yeah, that it was rough, but it was a great trip otherwise. But yes,
Yeah.
that is the reason why I have been a little short of movie stories. So
So yeah,
in lieu
you
of
did.
that,
So clearly, you didn't make it to the theater.
no, unfortunately.
I
And
did. I forgot when we were talking at the beginning of the show, planning stuff out. I
yeah,
did neglect to mention that I went to the theater and I saw the new Superman. Have you seen Superman yet?
no, I haven't. But somebody actually asked me that at a friendly get together yesterday, and I was like, no, I haven't seen it, but I heard it's good. Did you like it?
It's actually really good, in my
Okay,
opinion, at
cool.
least. If you're into, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad type stuff,
Oh, it's
less
more like
so
that.
Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is more like edgy
Yeah,
superhero stuff, but it felt similar, like at least like the tone and the comedy and stuff of it. And I'm not like a big superhero guy in general,
yeah, yeah,
but specifically Superman, just because I feel like that character is kind of lame and boring and just
yeah. I
like
mean,
he's just like super strong. That's it, like
it's
it's
like
hard, it's hard to make a movie with Superman feel like there's any real stakes or like he can
yeah,
get
yeah.
his ass beat. I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I'm not. I don't own a single Superman movie, and I never have. So how about that?
Yeah. I think I have Man of Steel,
Yeah, that one was
but
okay. It was okay.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
but you did like it?
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was
Oh,
really
loved
good.
it.
Yeah, best part of the movie, Crypto the dog is in it. He's
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
Yeah, and they find a fun, interest. Well, they find an interesting way to make Superman not feel like he's just like godlike.
So
They find a
it's
way to
like
make him have a weakness. But
it's like more like goofy and fun and not like dead serious.
yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the guy's name who plays the main bad guy, but he was good. He's been in a lot of stuff recently.
Is it Lex Luthor that he's playing?
Yeah, the guy who plays Lex Luthor. I'll look it up real
Yeah, I have to
quick.
do a quick Google
He's
and
like
everybody.
a name that I should remember, but I'm not for some
So,
reason.
so is this whole experience being shared right now? You doing research real time?
Yeah, I
For-
guess I could leave it up.
Well, I didn't know because you had that wheel up.
This guy,
Oh,
Nicholas
oh,
Holt.
Nicholas Holt. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like
I
he's been
actually. This is
somewhat overexposed recently.
this is how sad, or just how out of touch I am with paying attention to this stuff. I didn't even realize that James Gunn wrote and directed it. Like now that I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that seems familiar. That I was like vaguely aware of that at some point, but I just don't follow like any news when it comes to superhero stuff and
Yeah,
specifically Superman.
I actually when we talked about the Naked Gun on the last episode,
Yeah,
and our friend Justin was here, and he's who I went to see the Naked Gun with. I suggested lightly going to see Superman because I'd heard good things, and he was like, "I can't do it, man. I'm not going to see no stupid superhero movie." I was like, "Okay, whoa, we'll go see Naked Gun. It's fine, dude."
yeah. That being said, let's get into our superhero episode, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, let's move. Let's move on.
No, but did you have anything else for this segment?
Oh, well, I said let's move on, so I'm gonna have to cut that out.
Well, I thought that was a joke.
Okay, all right. Well, I did. I guess physical pickups, not a movie, a book. Quentin Tarantino's Cinema Speculation.
Yeah,
Um,
it
haven't read it
looks.
yet. Obviously, I just got it. But I think
Yeah,
it's about just like his opinion on '70s movies, right? You said you have this book.
I do have it. Have not read it yet. I actually did read. Now that like think about it, I did read like a little bit of it because it's sort of autobiographical for him too. Like it's kind of like talks about his childhood and like his discovery of movies and going to the theater originally. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit like my intros to the spotlights.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I need to read it, but I'm still finishing Pictures at a Revolution, which I've been reading off and on for like the last 5 years. And I'm like, I need to just finish that and then I'll move on to other stuff.
Mhm. Well, while I was there, I did get one other thing that we're just gonna
Please.
talk. We're gonna talk about it later, but I bought the Cell as well.
Oh, yes. A
But
little tease.
yeah, we'll talk about that later because that is one of the segments for the show.
Okay, for real, we can end this segment and get into blind buys.
Okay, we're back, and before we get into the next segment of the show where we talk about our blind buys, we're gonna spin the wheel again. So, Matt, are you ready for me to spin the wheel?
I sure am, and I feel like you getting out of that little pop up before might make my viewing experience better. So let's give it a go.
All right, here we go.
This is like very enjoyable for the people that are audio only.
Well, hopefully it's picking up that little ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
whatever.
I'm not hearing it, so yeah, hopefully.
Oh,
Goku.
Shane almost
9173.
won. I thought it was gonna land on Shane,
Well,
but
he's still
it's
got
going
a
to
shot.
yeah, Goku 91731. Congratulations, Goku.
Yes, thanks for all the interest. You
Yes.
will hopefully get the movie that you wanted, but no guarantees.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully you get to pick the movie that you want. If you don't, like I said, we'll talk about it on Instagram.
You may need to negotiate something with Keith.
We'll figure something out. Maybe we'll give you a stack of stickers or something.
Is this one of the people that came from YouTube or no?
No.
Okay.
Goku is from Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
very good. Well, very exciting. In true radio contest form, we're making sure everyone listens to at least a decent chunk of the episode before bailing. We're,
Well, I don't know. We'll see how many people stick through the plane story.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I made it entertaining.
Okay.
Don't people want to hear about my troubles in the world?
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's talk about your blind buy, which I actually really enjoyed. I bought it too. Not blind,
Yeah.
but
I know you're really stealing my thunder with it because it's a pretty sweet copy, and I actually wanted to buy it earlier when it was like first available. I was going to order it, and like I showed it to Lindsay, and she was like, "Don't get that." I was like, "Really?"
Why?
She's like, "Isn't that the movie with Jennifer Lopez?" And I'm like, "Yeah, so shouldn't I get it?" No, so I had actually never seen this.
Okay.
Which I guess is a blind buy, sorry. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I've never seen it. Spoiler alert. Um, but Keith, the reason why I really wanted to pick it up was I remember this trailer playing. I can't remember. I mean, was this late 90s? It was right around
I think it's
2000.
2000.
Okay, it was right around that time. Um, and I remember the trailers for it. We were still kind of young, and it just looked so weird, but the concept looked so cool. And it was kind of strange that Jennifer Lopez was the lead in it, but I always had my interest captured from the trailers, and then I just never saw it. Just one of those movies. Never saw it on TV. Never rented it. Nothing. And I feel like it didn't have that much of a life. Like it's not a movie that I just randomly catch streaming. Do you ever see this up streaming? I just feel like maybe it has been, but
No, I can't say that I have. I do remember seeing this when I was a kid though, and being super just disturbed by a lot of the imagery and stuff in it. Like there's the
yeah.
scene with the horse that's like real gross and weird, and then like just the scene with like the music box too is just like that scene like
Oh,
really freaked me out when I was a kid.
that
So
was
I didn't.
like straight out of Hellraiser or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Vincent D'Onofrio plays like the bad guy in this, and he's just like I don't know. They like put this like teeth like thing in to make
Yeah.
it look like his teeth are like sharp or like grinded down real tight, and just like there's a lot of weird freaky stuff in this movie.
Definitely. And a lot of the imagery is cool. And I'll tell you, dude, I actually thought that the effects were going to be worse because it's 25 years ago. They do CGI, and the CGI parts are rough at times. But I thought mostly it looked pretty good still.
Yeah. Well, I just looked up I couldn't remember the director's name, but Tarsim Singh.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was apparently before this. I think he had like a ton of music video credits.
Not
So he
a,
had.
yeah.
I think he was already well known for having like this crazy visual aesthetic.
Certainly wasn't a household name for me, and but it does seem like he stays committed to directing like kind of weird movies. Like it seems when I looked
Hmm.
at his filmography earlier, it seemed like he had done kind of weird movies. Like he sticks to that, which I give him credit for.
Yeah,
Um,
I have not seen The Fall, but I know Umbrella just put that out. Um, and that was like one that physical media people were talking about. Where
okay,
I watched the trailer for it, and it looks like it has like the same visual style as like the dream sequences in this, like a lot of like stuff in deserts and just really cool, weird architecture and whatnot.
all right, yeah, just like horses in the desert.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will say this. Not blown away by Jennifer Lopez's performance in it. She's a little
yeah.
flat, but that's okay. I mean, I don't want to be like dogging this movie because I walked away like liking it. I was like, look, maybe I like the idea of it more than the execution, but
Hmm.
I do really like the idea of it. Like, I like the world. I like that it kind of feels similar filmmaking style to X Files Fight the Future. Like, it just has that same kind of
Hmm.
feel to me.
Yeah.
Um, and I really enjoyed being in this space. There is creepy stuff. I just like the concept. Like I kind of want to see
It's
somebody else
almost
take.
like a cheap version of Inception,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like the shared dream world where like so if I guess if you aren't familiar with the movie, we should tell people like what it actually is. It's like so Jennifer Lopez is she works for this company where I think she's like a therapist, right? And she goes
yeah,
into disturbed children's minds and tries to help them deal with their repressed memories and whatnot, but
yeah,
she ends up helping these detectives go into this like serial killer's mind um, to try to find out where his final victim is. Basically, that's like the setup for the movie. But all the dream sequences where she's like in his mind or he's in her mind are just they look like music videos. They're
yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah, like music videos like directed by David Lynch or something. There's just random
Yeah.
horses. You're like,
Uh-huh.
what's with
Yeah.
all the horses? What do these horses mean? Um,
Mhm.
I was gonna say something else about it. Now I forgot. Ah, you made me lose it. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I overall though was in on it, and I definitely want to watch it again at some point. I remember what I was gonna say. It's stupid though. Maybe it
Okay.
was better that I forgot. It was that if you ever wanted to, if I was in a coma and you needed to figure out how to get me out of it, sending Jennifer Lopez into my brain would be like a recommended way.
Lindsay's gonna love that joke.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Wow. What a statement. Her
You're
being in this
0 for
movie.
2 now. We're taking her off the list of winning the Friendship Blu-ray, and now you're wanting Jennifer Lopez to come into your mind.
I'm just saying it would be an effective technique. That's it.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. It'd work on me too.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, like you wouldn't confuse her for Meryl Streep in this movie, and
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'll agree with you. I think some of the performances are probably pretty bad. I
Yeah,
I think I rated this like a 4 star just because I don't know. I hadn't watched it in a really long
yeah,
time, and I think my expectations were way lower than what it ended up being.
yeah, kind of same. And I gave it 4 stars too, which normally I would probably be like a little more critical of the stuff that you can bash on, but I was like,
Hmm.
no, I just kind of like this movie.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's definitely plenty of room to trash it, but I was like, no, I'm not going to. I may not have felt like it was the most professionally put together thing, but I was entertained and enjoyed being in this world, and that sometimes that's enough.
yeah. So that's The Cell.
Yeah.
If we didn't say the title already,
Yeah. We got the
if you're
same
listening.
nice Arrow 4K. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
was just one of those ones that as soon as I saw they were doing a 4K release, I'm like, yeah, I kind of need this, even though I've never seen it. And you know what? No regrets.
yeah. Did you hear about the thing where it's messed up on the director's cut? I don't know. I
Oh
watched the
no.
theatrical cut.
Yeah, me too. I also watched the theatrical cut, which I was
Okay,
going to
so
ask you that,
yeah,
because I figured I had to start with the theatrical, right?
yeah.
But
So yeah, I watched the theatrical cut too, just because I had heard there was some issues with the director's cut, and apparently, as far as I know, Arrow hasn't like fixed that issue yet, and they haven't sent out replacement discs. So
okay, all right. Well, Arrow, if you're listening, we'll
yeah,
take our replacement discs whenever you're ready.
all right. Well, continuing with Arrow, should we move on to mine?
Yeah, please. This is,
All
by the
right.
way, yours. Before you even hold it up, it's sort of in the same category as
Yeah.
the Cell for me, because it's another one I've never seen it all the way through. I've made attempts at watching Dark City, but I've never seen. Oh, I spoiled it already. Hold up your.
It's fine.
I ruined it. I was building up to be like, all that being said, here's Dark City, but no, just have to just march right through it like adult. Um, and but it was just one of those movies where I always thought it looked cool. It's from roughly kind of the same time period. It's late '90s, right?
So it's Dark City that we're talking about, obviously, and yeah, this is from 1998. Yeah, 98.
'98, yeah.
So a year before The Matrix, and fun fact, they used some of the same sets for The
Oh
Matrix
wow.
as this. So that's why it has a very similar like visual style.
Well,
I don't know if
it,
you caught on to that when you watched it this time,
a
but
little bit, yeah. I mean, there is a whole thing where there's a kind of a real world neo noir vibe going on at some point, but then there's this also kind of like supernatural world too, right?
there's a lot of weirdly similar things
Yeah. Which, by the
between
way,
Dark
is
City
also kind
and
of
The
similar
Matrix.
in the Cell. Like even the whole thing of the Cell where they're like they have to go through this process to get into the world. That's very Matrixy too. Something was going on in this
Uh-huh.
time period.
Yeah, I feel like it probably had something, whether it's like subconsciously or not, but I feel like writers and directors were like probably a little bit anxious about like the internet age coming to
Yeah.
be, I feel like that was like around that time when
Yeah, for sure.
the internet was being born and I don't know, people probably had anxiety. I don't know.
Yeah. You're right.
I was a little
I
kid
think that's
back
a
then,
good
so
that's an insightful connection to make because yeah, people were about to start living on the internet, which,
mhm.
we've now never left that time period.
Yep. I mean, there's like I actually wrote down in my notes like a list of like similarities to the Matrix. So
Yeah.
There's obviously like themes of control and manipulation with like the bad guys. I don't want to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it, but that that ends up being a portion of the movie, I would say, or a theme throughout is control and manipulation of like the bad guys and like the regular citizens, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, the
What's
bad
next?
guy, the bad guys wear these. They have these uniforms. They wear these like black coats. They're not trench coats. I don't know. They're just like black coats and like these weird top hats. So they're
Yeah.
kind of like the agents in the
Right.
Matrix.
Yeah.
And they even have. It's not a spoiler to say that they have like powers similar to what like the agents have in the Matrix, where
Yeah. Who are the people that are in the cast of this again? I can't remember now.
um, I'll have to pull it up real quick again. I'm not remembering anybody's
Not
names.
not recognizable people, obviously. No one that
There are
comes
a
to mind.
couple like
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland's in it.
Okay.
He
There,
plays the doctor.
there's somebody
Uh,
I'm remembering, so and I can't and the name is like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't.
you're probably thinking of William Hurt. He plays the detective.
Nope, not
He's like
William
the
Hurt.
gumshoe guy.
That's not.
Jennifer Connelly is the main dude's wife in
Yep.
it.
Keep going.
The main guy, though, the main guy you're following for most of it is Rufus Sewell, I think is
Yes.
how you pronounce it.
That's who I'm picturing. Yeah.
I don't really recognize him from much.
I
Here,
know.
I'll-
Well, he is definitely a guy that was in stuff, but now I can't, for the life of me, I don't know what.
well, here's
Yeah,
a
oh,
new
yeah, A
element to the
Knight's
show.
Tale. He
We're
was like
sharing the
the
screen.
yeah, A Knight's Tale. He was like the other. I think he was
Yeah,
like I think the villainous jouster or whatever in that movie. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think he was kind of having a moment back around this time, but you know, beyond that, he's just kind of been a guy that's been around. You can see that he's been popping up and stuff for the
He,
last 20 years, but
that was just from 2000 on. Yeah, he has like a ton of credits, but yeah, he's not really like a leading man anymore, I would say.
yeah, yeah. But how were you overall on Dark City?
Overall, I feel like there was just like too many similarities to the Matrix to like not be comparing it to it.
Yeah, well,
So
that's
I
fair.
think
Although this came first, right?
it did. It did. This came out like a year before, I think. I don't know. Yeah, somewhere around a year before. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's really hard to not compare the two. So I think I gave this like a 3.5.
Okay.
Um, I do think it's cool, but like maybe in a world where the Matrix doesn't exist, this would be more closer to like a 4-star movie. The end of the movie gets super goofy. Like
Okay.
there's even like a fight that's kind of like the Neo fight where they're like flying around and stuff. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, you
Wow.
didn't watch? I thought you watched this.
No, I've never finished it. I've tried
Oh,
it a
okay.
couple times, but I've never made it all the way through. So,
Okay.
and I
Well,
just I didn't make it in time for doing this
okay.
episode. But
Well,
uh
sorry for the spoiler.
no worries. No, I mean I'm not I'll watch it at some point, but by that point I'll forget about the Neo type fight.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not going to impress you anyways, regardless.
were there more notes that you had? I cut you off when you were going through your list.
Um, no, not really. I mean, I think we kind of covered it. Yeah, it's just yeah, like I said, there's a lot of similarities. The sets, like the visual aesthetic is very similar. Even the characters are similar. The bad guys are similar. The main dude has powers like Neo. Spoiler alert. I already
Okay.
said that, but like yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on that's very similar and yeah, I don't want to completely spoil the movie, but I guess the one difference is like one of the big selling points of the Matrix was all the like gunfights and stuff. You're not getting any of that in this. This is a little bit different than that, but
But it is taking place in some sort of weird fantasy world, right?
yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just give like a big spoiler warning now
Okay,
if you want if you don't want to hear the ending of the movie, skip ahead a couple minutes.
please.
But yeah, you find out at the end that basically the bad guys have these humans and they use the humans' dead bodies to like they're like parasites basically. They're like
Hmm.
alien parasites. So
Okay, yeah,
they're living inside the humans and you find out that they're like a big hive mind, basically kind of like the creatures in Slither.
yeah.
You've seen Slither.
I have, yeah. James
But
Gunn,
yeah,
right?
yeah, so they find out at the end of the movie, the humans do, like the main guy and all of his, the other side characters find out that they're basically living like in a bubble. It's like it's this city that's just floating in space. Like they bust a hole through this brick wall where they're like trying to escape the city, and then it's just like a vacuum into space. So like they're basically on this floating city out in space somewhere being studied by the bad guys.
Okay.
So
So I never made it to a part in the movie where you figure out that they're in space.
well, that's like 10 minutes before the end of the movie.
Okay.
It might not even be that much left after you figure that out, but
That's a reveal.
yeah, that's a reveal at the very end.
Okay. All right. So that's the Cell Arrow 4K. Was the Dark City, is that a 4K or is that a Blu-ray?
Yep, this is a 4K, and apparently, this one is like sold out. The 4K at least. I've seen the Blu-ray
Okay.
in stores, but I've heard other people on YouTube and Instagram saying that this is like pretty hard to
Mhm.
find now. So if you
Wow.
find it out in the wild and you're even somewhat interested, you should probably grab it because
For those of you keeping track at home, by the way, that is a brag by Keith that he
yeah.
has this exclusive
No, here, let's
4K.
look it up on eBay. I guarantee this is like a
Well,
new
so
new
what? You can
section of the
rub it in
show.
my face that I can't get this for cheap? That I
Yeah.
need to pay some ridiculous fee on eBay to add this to my collection?
Look at that.
Yeah, see?
$100.
I'm glad you spoiled it. Now I don't need to watch it because I'm not going to be shelling out for this thing.
All right, well, here's another spoiler, Matt. It's not
Yeah.
worth $150, $115. Don't pay that for it.
Yeah, okay. I will I'll wait for another release at this point.
Okay, real quick before we end this segment, we got to spin the wheel one more time.
All right, one more spin. Do we have
This is the
one
final
more
winner.
lucky listener / viewer, depending on which you choose, which medium you pick? Go ahead, give that thing a friggin' another spin, Keith.
Before we do a quick plug, if you listen on Apple or Spotify, check us out on YouTube, High Volume Video, and vice versa. If you only watch on YouTube, follow the show and rate us and review us on
Oh
Apple
yeah,
or Spotify.
I was a little bit like disappointed that, and I don't like need much, but the fact that there's like still only like one review on the Apple Podcast thing. Now, granted, if you're gonna review it, make it a positive one at this point.
We need the positive reviews to get the whatever you call it, the impressions or whatever.
Yeah, like at some point I am down to be hated for sure, and that's like okay. But can we just wait until there's like we need a floor. We need to
Some
like yeah.
we need somewhat of an audience.
Yeah, like pump it up first and then bring the hate later.
Yeah. Okay, bring the hate. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't get the full experience because it just gets stuck. But I'm seeing it slow down and landing on something.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. KOM Hin 05?
Yeah,
KO I'm Hin 05?
solid pronunciation in my book.
Whoever you are, congratulations. You won the
A
final
movie that may or may not be of your choice.
We'll figure it out on Instagram.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats to everyone that won, and congrats to everyone that didn't win for getting to hear my story of my travel woes.
All right, Matt, all the spinning wheel stuff's over with. It's time for the main event. Let's talk about The Dark Knight Rises.
All right. As you get older, the way you experience movies tends to diminish. You still grasp at the wonder you once felt, but you inevitably become numb to the magic of the cinema. It happens. But when Christopher Nolan's conclusion to his Batman trilogy hit theaters in the summer of 2012, it completely took me back to that feeling, maybe for the last time. The sequel to his Batman Begins, titled simply The Dark Knight, had been the biggest cinematic event in quite some time. I remember waiting in line to get into the midnight premiere, which was showing on multiple screens. Heath Ledger's iconic performance of the Joker had audiences stirring with anticipation, while a heaviness loomed over the whole experience due to the actor's untimely death. That film did not disappoint, and the excitement for a third movie hit almost immediately. Shortly after, I would relocate from upstate New York to Pittsburgh, where some of the filming for the final entry, The Dark Knight Rises, would occur. When that finally hit theaters, I was blown away by the experience. Super jacked Tom Hardy as the villain Bane with a distorted but whimsical voice may not have one-upped the Heath Ledger Joker, but it certainly has its place in all-time Batman villain performances. I was glued to my chair for the full 2 hour and 45-minute runtime. It was intense, thrilling, and continued Nolan's run of grounding these extraordinary and sometimes supernatural characters in a more traditional world. Just like its predecessor, I would go on to see it multiple times in the theater, and I'm not sure I've been as excited for a movie screening since. Despite my personal enjoyment, there was a slight but noticeable letdown feeling from the collective. It's hard with any follow up in any series, but especially hard when you set the bar so high with one of the entries. It was always going to be a difficult hurdle for The Dark Knight Rises to overcome. I would even succumb to the pressure that it wasn't as good, saying things like, I like the first hour and a half as much as The Dark Knight, but it loses me in the second half for a bit during the occupied Gotham segment. I don't feel that way now. In fact, while I do think The Dark Knight is better, I'd rather watch The Dark Knight Rises. There's another reason why this film is significant to me. Back in that time, while I was sitting with friends at my beloved Ruggers Pub in the south side of Pittsburgh, still basking in the glow of a recent screening, I overheard some very broy dude explaining to his friends just how horrible The Dark Knight Rises was, talking about Bruce Wayne walking around with a cane and how he was audibly laughing at that. My heart sunk with embarrassment. I had been in these moments many times before where one's opinion was so outrageous to me, and I knew where my feelings were heading next: anger. But something changed for me that day. I think I finally understood that people can watch, listen, experience things differently, and that's okay. There's a part of me that does feel like you can take a step back from any movie and think it's stupid, but that's just me still not letting that moment go. But seriously, it's one of the things I've come to appreciate about movies and art and culture today. It's a good thing that people experience things differently, and no one's opinion on these topics should incite your anger, especially movies. So we'll try to take that attitude into Return to Videotech's So Long Sweet Summer selection, The Dark Knight Rises. So Keith and I actually did see The Dark Knight Rises together, but of course Keith had to get the drop on me and see it first before his trip to Pittsburgh. So Keith, you want to talk a little bit about your experience seeing the movie before we met up and saw it together?
Yeah, so I feel like I had like kind of a unique first viewing experience. So at the time when this movie came out, I was working for our local TV station, WTM, also Matt's uncle.
That's right.
Worked
By the
there
way,
too.
he reached out to me and said that he wants us to do a Denzel Washington movie.
Okay. We
So
could find one for that.
yeah, since you mentioned WATM, famed local news outlet in Elmira, New York, and another employee of theirs, reached out to me, bared mentioning right now
Yeah.
that he wants us to do a Denzel Washington movie. So just make a note of that.
Okay.
But continue.
Okay. Noted. Um so anyway, so I was like a TV news camera guy basically. I would go around with reporters and film stories and come back and edit them, and that was my job for a while. So the night that this movie was released, this was at a time when, and this is actually the movie that ended the midnight release, if I'm not mistaken. Like shortly after this happened, I think the whole shooting incident that happened um, kind of ended midnight releases, as far as I'm aware, right?
Well, I didn't know that, but and I do think that they've been doing them a little bit recently again. But
Yeah, I feel like they're starting to come back a little bit. In
yeah,
my area, they'll do them like a Friday release will actually come out like
right.
Thursday at like 7 or 8 p.m. But no more midnight releases, at least as far as
Yeah.
I'm
Well, what you're
aware.
saying makes sense because I was seeing movies at midnight still in like 2010 or so. Like, I
Yeah.
think I saw Black Swan at midnight. I saw The Fighter also with Christian Bale at
Hmm.
midnight. So it was like that era leading up to. And
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely never didn't see anything at midnight after this.
Yeah. But so anyway, so the night that this movie was released, I was assigned to go and do a story on the release because it was such a big deal. Like everybody loved The Dark Knight. It was like that was like the biggest superhero movie at the time.
Oh
Just
yeah.
massive blockbuster, and the hype for this movie was insane. So I was lucky enough to go and shoot a story with my reporter on the release of the movie. And the I can't remember the name of the theater, but it was like a small theater in Elmira that was like one screen, and it was
Oh
like
really?
It was like opera seating, basically. I can't remember. I'll try to look it up and like I'll put the name of it if it even
You know
still
what?
exists.
Yeah, I
But
kind of feel like maybe we like would go on field trips to see movies there as like
yeah, it
kids or
was a
something.
really cool theater. It was like
Yeah.
yeah, it was like opera seating. Basically, it was one screen and there was like a balcony, and then all the other seats were like the old red velvet seats or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
It
awesome.
wasn't super fancy, but we interviewed the guy who ran the theater for the story, and he basically invited me and the reporter back for the midnight showing. He's like, "If you guys want to come see the movie at midnight, I'll let you guys in for free for doing the story or whatever." So we did. So we got to leave work a little early actually, and like so that shift was weird because it was like the nighttime shift. Like we would shoot
Yeah.
stories for like the 11 o'clock news or whatever, basically. So to get to the theater, we had to leave at like 11:30, which was before when I normally would. But anyway, so we went. So we get done with our story. We're real excited. We go see it, and then like I think the shooting happened while we were. It must have happened while we were in the theater, right?
Yeah, that's
So
awful.
so we get back, and obviously the shooting is terrible. Obviously, I mean, I'm complaining about like not being
Yeah.
able to go see movies at midnight anymore, which sucks. But everything that happened uh, with that shooting is awful. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to downplay it, but yeah. So we get back to the station after because I think me and the reporter rode together to go see the movie, and then we were going back to either get my car or his car. I can't remember what it was, but it kind of put a damper on like the whole experience because we got back and then everybody was like getting that news story together
Yeah,
for like the next morning. So it was a weird first viewing. I'm sure that
for sure.
and that I mean it kind of stinks for this movie because that is just like a dark cloud that is gonna live over this movie
It
forever.
it
But
definitely
that was
loomed
like my
heavy.
interesting experience with it.
Yeah, it definitely loomed heavy at the time, and I thought about writing about something in the intro, but I don't even really like not to like just blow past it, but it's such a bummer situation that it happened, especially for people who love going to the theater. It's definitely was like a little bit of a loss of innocence for theater goers, you know?
Yeah.
There's
I
a
mean, I used to love going to watch movies at midnight. Like that was like, and I know, like we said, you can still do that nowadays with like the 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock showings. But like, that was a thing. Like we would go. They don't even do that for like video game releases anymore. I don't think. Like we used
yeah.
to go and like go get the new Call of Duty or the new Legend of Zelda game or whatever at midnight. And I don't know if they do that stuff anymore for that either.
Yeah, it's a little bit like um it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you know, basically it takes the idea of what happened with the Manson murders and Sharon Tate, and it's like everything in the 60s was like free and fun and loving, and then all of a sudden like that moment happens, and now the 70s come in and it's like dark and grimy, and there's just horrible crimes, and it's like this loss of innocence moment. That's like the Dark Knight Rises for you and me. Like if we were making our Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we would have stopped this shooting from happening. That would be our movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Midnight showings continue.
Yeah.
We still have this childlike wonder
Yeah,
of going to the
absolutely.
movies.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm serious though. Like, I think this was the last one where I really, and you talked about it a little bit too, like all the excitement between the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises, like all the talk, all these stories about like, oh, what's it gonna be? Like Philip Seymour Hoffman is gonna play the Penguin. Like all these crazy like casting ideas were being thrown out, and like all these things that were being discussed, and then it was like Christopher Nolan like wasn't even committed to do it yet.
Yeah. It's hard to remember like all the like conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call them, like the all the ideas people, all the things people thought that the movie was going to be. But in my minimal amount of research I did, I found out that they didn't even know, or Nolan kept the fact that Robin was in the movie from like the entire cast and crew until like
Yeah.
apparently like there's that whole scene at the end of the movie
Yep.
where the lady hands the bag to him and she says she asks him to say his real, or she says you should use your real name or something,
Right.
which is Robin. Apparently they recorded that audio separately, so even Joseph Gordon-Levitt didn't get to hear that line until
Yeah.
the movie came out.
I mean, Nolan has historically been pretty good about keeping things like under wraps,
Mhm.
which is cool. I mean, him and Christian Bale had both been on record of saying that Robin would never be a part of this version of Batman.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember hearing you say that like back in the day when we were talking about this movie, like it just in the
I think
past.
that
Like,
Christian Bale had said it in like a random like radio interview or something, but they had kind of said that they just didn't think that
yeah,
Robin really fit the vibe. And
uh-huh.
when you think about Robin like classically, like the idea that he was an orphan too, and that like Bruce Wayne adopts him, you couldn't really see this
Yeah.
Christian Bale Bruce Wayne is not like very personable. So
This is like the coolest version of Robin, though. Like,
Mhm.
I don't read a ton of comics, so I'm sure there's like a bunch of really cool versions of Robin, or like maybe in the video games or something. But this, to me, this is the coolest version of Robin.
Yeah, for sure. It's and I think it's a cool way of doing it. They do it as more of like a nod where it's like, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, like when you look back at the end of the movie, you're like Joseph Gordon-Levitt was kind of his de facto sidekick and he knew who he was and he's helping him." Like,
Hmm.
but you don't actually think that while you're watching it.
Yeah. No, I don't think. I mean, it's hard to remember because it's been so long. If I, maybe guessed that, but I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I was just like, oh, it's just some cop helping him out, like Gordon,
Totally. So yeah, like all of the buzz. I mean, of course, I had just moved to Pittsburgh like within the last year when they start talking about how they're gonna like film some of it in Pittsburgh too. There's the part in the movie where actually Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is like down talking to the cement truck guys. You know where like the part where he accidentally
Mhm.
kills them, like
Yeah.
where he
Uh-huh.
shoots the gun
He
out.
shoots the
Yeah,
the side of the
like
truck, yeah.
that spot. Like I go running, like I ran past that spot this morning where they
Yeah.
filmed that. Like,
That's cool, yeah.
so it was just funny. I was running past it this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where they had that little moment. Now they did shoot this all over, which was kind of crazy. From like, I think when the news came out that they were filming in Pittsburgh, I think a lot of us in Pittsburgh thought they were filming it like entirely in Pittsburgh, which really never would have worked because it's just not big enough to look like Gotham.
Yeah.
And so they filmed parts of it in Pittsburgh. They did go back to Chicago, which is where they filmed basically the entire The Dark Knight.
Mhm.
There's some stuff in LA. I noticed the buildings in LA. Some stuff heavily New York. I think that there's a little bit of London too. So they were like all over the place and then like mesh all these places together to like make it this
Yeah.
like version of Gotham. Um,
It doesn't really bother me, but that's one thing that some people complain about is how the look of Gotham overall changes from movie to movie, kind of. Like,
doesn't bother me.
it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me. The one thing that I do wish that they would have implemented in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, though, is the Narrows. For some reason, I think the Narrows are really cool from Batman Begins, and it's like that feels very
Yeah.
comic booky,
Yeah. That
but
was the part that they like definitely made. They like committed to making it more comic booky in the first movie and then sort of steered away from that in The Dark
yeah,
Knight. Like The Dark Knight, I think of the three, The Dark Knight is the most leaning into like the grounded
yeah,
reality of just being like this grim crime world with not much
yeah,
supernatural. And then I think Batman Begins is probably the most because the Narrows definitely doesn't seem like out of a real world at all when you see
hmm,
what they're
yeah,
showing, and even what's going on with Scarecrow is a little wild. But
hmm,
then The Dark Knight Rises, I think, still, you still have to suspend disbelief a bit and be like, well,
yeah,
there's things that are
yeah,
kind of goofy, but overall, I think it all works. Like the whole trilogy works with the vibe that they're going for.
hmm,
But leading into the movie, so much excitement, so much talk for so long. It finally comes out, and it's like I just remember like the opening credits, and we're like sitting in the theater, finally getting to watch it. I can't even remember what theater we saw it in Pittsburgh. Like I distinctly remember being with you, being with a group of us, but I can't even remember what theater we saw it in. I
yeah. I
don't know.
wouldn't remember. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it was somewhere like on the outskirts. It wasn't like in the city. It was
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't like the one where we saw Inherent Vice, which was
yeah,
Southside Works. That was right by my apartments. Yeah, I do remember there being like a big parking lot.
yeah,
So yeah, that's there's a detail for you. It wasn't. We
yeah.
didn't walk there. I know that. Um, but I just remember like they have the opening credit sequences. They do that like ice cracking thing, and I'm like getting chills.
So cool.
And it starts off with like a little bit of flashback to The Dark Knight, kind of summing up the Harvey Dent Two Face stuff. Quick note: in hindsight, I don't know when the last time you went back to watch The Dark Knight was. I probably watched it like a year or two ago, but I'm not like, in hindsight, Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, I think he's fine. I think maybe there could have been somebody better. I don't know if that's a hot take, but
I feel like that might be a hot take because I've never heard anybody complain about that casting. But
not a complaint. I'm not
yeah,
like down on it. I'm just sort of like, I don't know, it feels lackluster. Now maybe Heath Ledger being the Joker was the big shining spot, so
hmm
but it is weird. Don't you feel like I kind of feel like the Dark Knight ends a little, it sort of peters out. Like
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's sort of, you feel a little off with the way that it ends. Both parts, both with the Joker getting caught, it seems like it feels like he should be killed, not caught. Now,
yeah. I mean, I guess that part of that thinking is probably the fact that they obviously couldn't do another movie with the Joker
yeah,
because of what happened with Heath Ledger.
yeah,
But I do agree. It's kind of weird. And it ends similar to the way that the 89 Batman ends too, where the Joker's hanging upside down or whatever. Doesn't something similar happen? It's been a while since I've seen
I think
89,
so.
but
Yeah,
he falls and dies. I remember that.
that one is real weird.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson is just crazy in that movie. The tone of that one is just so goofy
Yeah.
and weird.
That's pretty comic booky.
But anyway, it's just a little bit of flashback to the last one. But I just, to wrap that up, the Harvey Dent thing. I mean, even him falling to his death is sort of feels anticlimactic at that end of that movie. Like all the stuff that happens right at the end of The Dark Knight, even though it's a movie that I love, and I'm not trashing it, it just feels a little like it's not that climactic of an ending.
No, yeah, I can agree with that. It feels like it starts ramping up with the two boats and like
Yeah.
the whatever you call it, I don't know, the thing that makes the bombs go off or whatever. All
Right.
that stuff is like pretty cool. And
Agree.
I
Agree.
love the it's almost like there's like some social commentary on like surveillance and whatnot with the Lucius with like
For
the
sure.
he's using all the cell phones
It's
to
like
like
Patriot
see
Act stuff.
everything and like
Yeah.
I like how they add that in and I don't know. I feel like it's like a commentary or something like on like the Patriot Act or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I
So I
totally
love
agree.
that.
Yeah,
But what
you're
you're
right.
saying, though,
Yeah.
like the way it's all edited together and the way that it just wraps up in general, I think, yeah, is a little off.
But it's a great movie. I mean, undeniable. I mean, it's 5 stars still. It's that part that it's just always sat with me a little bit, that it sort of has this peter out of an ending.
Mhm.
But that's it. We get a little flashback there to Harvey Dent, a reminder of what happened. But the other part of it is Batman goes into, like, he takes the blame. He's now vilified. He goes into like retirement, hiding, whatever. He's now a fugitive. Um, we cut to the airplane sequence, which was the opening stuff that was showed in IMAX theaters or something as a trailer. We were talking a little bit about it before recording, that there is this legend about I don't know what's true, but about Bane's voice being like too distorted, and maybe people complained about it during those early screenings and then they re-edited some of it for the actual theatrical release. I remembered hearing that maybe the movie had been out for a week and then they did that, which I don't think is true, but I just like, how these stories evolve into things that they didn't start out as. So, but there's something there. So people had seen this, but I think that I've seen things that this is like one of Christopher Nolan's most proud of, like, action sequences. This whole thing with the
Can I say
plane.
something about the audio mix real quick?
Yeah, please.
We didn't
Yeah.
talk about this before, but I just wanted to point this out. So I just upgraded to the 4Ks, and they even advertise on the back here. If you can read it, it says
I can't.
original theatrical audio mix.
Okay. So you
So it
think
was
that
such an
means with
issue. It
yeah.
was such an issue for people that they actually advertised that on this release of the 4K.
So I got this Blu-ray with like a holographic cover that I just bought
Yeah.
like at an exchange used or whatever. And I haven't upgraded to 4K. I always think about getting that like 4K set because I think it goes on sale a lot and stuff on Amazon and
Yeah.
everything. And I feel like I probably will at some point, but I gotta tell you, every time I watch this Blu-ray, I'm like, it looks pretty sweet. Like,
Yeah. I know we
I,
talk about not being 4K guys all the time. I will say that these look awesome though.
Mhm.
I think they're actually worth it
I'm sure.
if you
I
get
mean,
it on sale. But yeah.
Nolan's movies, I mean, it mostly look really great. I mean,
Yeah,
to me, I know he has his critics out there, but like the guy knows what he's doing.
yeah, for sure.
And this plane sequence is no joke. I mean, this is where we meet Bane. We have Littlefinger from Game of Thrones as like this CIA agent, and he's threatening Bane's henchmen, and this is where we hear the voice. Or perhaps he's wondering what. You're like, it is jarring the first time you experience it because it is just like so loud.
Yeah. I
But it's
love it though. I'm here for it. Do you
me too.
know the fun fact I had ready to go for where Tom Hardy like got inspiration for the voice?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know this.
So he got inspiration for the voice from a man named Bartley Gorman, who was a bare knuckle boxing champion.
I
Just like a
know.
traveling. His nickname was the King of the Gypsies.
Well, I know that it was sort of part of the plan to have like the voice not really match the look because he's like just this jacked, scary looking dude, and then the voice is like kind of whimsical.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm into the whole thing. They hijack the plane. The big thing, the big takeaway is they're taking this doctor away. It's a crazy sequence to watch, but awesome. And the big moment for me in this scene, I love how it ends when he's like, "Now is not the time for fear, doctor. That comes later." It's like, to me, a really good way to open the movie. Like it's like you're telling the audience that because it's like
Yeah.
this intense scene, and then it's like, all right, now you can chill for a while, but like things are coming. Um,
It is
so
really cool how they did this. I don't know if you know about like the behind the scenes at all too, but they did a lot of that stuff practically. Like they actually had dudes hanging out of
oh
planes
yeah,
and
they were using
they,
like skydivers and stuff.
yeah, it's really cool. We don't need to dig too deep into it, but if you're interested in that stuff, it's really cool to just look at video essays and whatnot about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nolan's practical effects. I mean, there's very few people that are, at the level of him and his works, like these big action set pieces and just using real in-camera effects like as much as possible.
Mhm.
Like he does use CGI too, but
Yeah,
it's as much as possible in-camera effects, and it's one
yeah,
of the things that I love about experiencing his movies.
for sure.
So we cut back to Gotham. Wayne Manor has been rebuilt, and we have a little bit of a gathering going on there. And we get our intro to Catwoman, who I don't think is ever called Catwoman in the movie, and just goes by the name of Selena Kyle, played by Anne Hathaway. She's a little timid at first, but she meets Bruce Wayne, who basically calls her out for stealing his mother's pearls, and there's a change in her demeanor when she delivers the line, "Oops, nobody told me it was uncrackable." And let me tell you, Keith, the amount of vomit that Lindsay cannot contain within herself every time we watch the scene. Now, I think Anne Hathaway is great in this movie. I think it totally works. Listen, I'm a fan. Okay, you're not going to get a lot of criticism from me about this movie, but Lindsay just thinks that she stinks. Like she does not like Anne Hathaway one bit, and it's
So
like
she doesn't like the character, or she doesn't like the performance.
she doesn't like the performance. But I think it's more like she doesn't
Okay.
like the actress, so then she doesn't like the performance.
I was gonna say later when we'll probably get to it in a little bit here, but there's the scene where she's trying to sell the fingerprint or whatever
Yeah.
that she pulled off the thing where she's getting into the safe or whatever. Um, and then like when the police like descend on this bar that they're in,
Yep.
and it gets all crazy, and she lets out this scream, and I was like, this is like it. I don't know. I thought that her performance, at least in that scene, was like great.
Listen, I think she's good in this whole movie. I think, yeah, her ability to like kind of jump in and out, like you get who this character is. Like she
Hmm.
is someone who had this kind of rough life and has had to, yeah, she's committed a lot of crimes, but it's like how she's survived and how she's adapted and found her way in the world. And she can be these different personalities. She's wearing this black dress that she's actually wearing in like every scene that she's wearing a dress in the movie. It's like that same black dress, and that's part of it. Like She turns it into a maid outfit. She's able to go to a nice party with rich people. She's wearing it at the airport later when she's wearing that kind of cool hat. Like
Hmm.
it's like what she does with the dress is sort of indicative of how she is as a person. She's able to like change and shift and
She's like
fit
a
into.
chameleon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's that element of it, and it works for me. And I think Anne Hathaway is good, but I'm just saying, like, if Lindsay and I are watching this movie, as soon as we get to, is like, the manufacturer assured me that it was uncrackable, and the demeanor on her face changes, and she just goes, "Oops," and Lindsay's just like, "What?" Like,
I feel like that's more of a criticism on the character than the performance, I would say. She just doesn't like that character, I think.
she does not like Anne Hathaway.
Okay. Not a
Now,
Devil Wears Prada fan either.
I don't know. I don't know. We've never watched it together. I don't think so. Hard to say. But look, she doesn't like her in this movie. That's for sure.
Okay.
So she was dusting for Prince, though, which is a key piece, which doesn't really make sense when you're watching it, but then does make sense later. She was basically like stealing, counterfeiting Bruce Wayne's fingerprints. She backflips out the window.
Insane. I think
Yeah.
she's wearing heels while she does it too.
Dude, she's definitely a lady for sure. Um,
And she's supposed to
and
be like 3 stories up.
yeah, so she's pretty cool. But I'll just say on the Catwoman thing overall, like I like that they just go by Selena Kyle. Although if you see in subtitles, she does get credited as Catwoman. Like
Yeah.
when being quoted or whatever, like you'll see in the subtitles the word Catwoman. It's just never said in the movie.
Hmm.
But I buy her. I like what they do with those little night vision goggles that when she flips them up, it looks like cat ears. I think it's a fun
Yeah.
way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I think they found the way to make it fit into this world. But the best thing
Hmm.
is when she leaves this party, she just gets into the limo of some congressman who then she takes to a bar. And this bar certainly looks like my type of joint because there's no one in there. Although once you find out the type of people that do hang out here, maybe that's why there's no one here.
So here's
Some
one of my here's
Yeah,
one of my like minor complaints with the movie is like stuff happens so fast in this. The
yeah.
cutting is super fast. I have a hard time telling, does this happen directly after this
I
thing that they're at the manor? Like, does the
No.
bar scene? It's a while after, right?
So that's the thing. The guy gets reported missing. There's other
Yeah.
scenes that happen. And yes, I am with you on this. The whole movie does move at a quick pace because there's a lot of plot and the plot happens quick. And sometimes there are bigger jumps in time and it's hard to tell when those happen. Now,
Mhm.
this guy is in a different outfit. He's no longer in his suit. He's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Open
Well,
up.
you made me question it because you said it happens after, so I was like, this doesn't happen right after, does it?
Well, they don't go directly there. They definitely
Yeah.
don't go directly there. But Keith,
But the next time you see him, yeah.
how long can it be? This guy is obviously now on some sort of a bender. She just sets him down at the bar. I'm like, you want to know what movie I want to see, Keith? The movie of Selena Kyle and this congressman, this drunk congressman, just hanging out with her for however long. Like,
I know. How does she get him to like be away from his family or whatever for however many days it's been or however many? I don't know how long it's supposed to be. Like I said, because of the editing, I'm not really sure.
Keith, I
But
don't know if you got a look at Anne Hathaway in this movie, but I, kind
does
of
she
a
have him
fox.
drugged up or is it just all looks?
Yeah, I mean, listen. At later when it gets brought back up, she's like, "Let me guess, still in love." I mean, listen. This is the kind of journey, I would be fine to be pulled into. That's all I'm gonna say. But it is pretty funny. She just sets him down at the bar, and she has this whole exchange with what we come to know as like Daggett's henchman, a character Daggett, who's like a criminal slash higher up in like slash someone who's on the board at Wayne Enterprises. But it's his crew. They're trying to buy the fingerprints, but immediately they're screwing over Selena. They're like, gonna backstab her or whatever. And she hands him a cell phone to text from, and it happens to be the congressman's cell phone. All the police descend on the scene. Now, the noteworthy part of this is she's just straight up killing these dudes.
Yeah. before the cops get in there, yeah, she's like kicked one of their asses and shot a couple other people in there. Okay,
So it's
so
like,
this is one of the points that's very jarring with the editing too, though, is it seems like literally 30 seconds after they make the phone call, the cops are there.
yes.
Like it's that's not possible. Like,
Well, they got a lot of patrolmen out. They're not the thing that they're really hammering you with in this movie is they're not the cops aren't busy with other stuff because
yeah,
all of the mob from the earlier movies is just in prison because of the Dent Act.
yeah,
So we have a kind of a crossing of characters here. She briefly crosses paths with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. John Blake is the character name. Gordon, and they're kind of pursuing. I guess they're pursuing Daggett's crew as they like kind of flee the scene. They lose them. People go down in the sewers. Gordon, who is oh, what's his face? Who is it that plays Inspector Gordon? I'm drawing a blank.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman, the acclaimed Gary Oldman. If you need someone to play a character with a mustache, it better be Gary Oldman.
I was gonna say his mustache is great in this movie.
I know he always has great facial hair in movies, but I said Inspector Gordon. He is actually the chief of police.
Commissioner Gordon in this
Commissioner Gordon, yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Previously an inspector or detective or whatever, but now he's been Commissioner Gordon. But he's still out there doing the legwork. He's carried this whole Dent thing with him, the cover up from the last movie, and that weighs heavy on him. So they go down. You know, there's some explosions underground. It is kind of scary, especially in the theater. There's like a lot of intense things happening. He gets taken in by Bane's men, is kind of passed out, but is apparently aware when this stuff is happening because he later at least knows that this guy's name is Bane and that there's a bunch of guys down in the sewers doing something. But he gets thrown into the water and washes away, and he is pretty injured from this. Somehow, the Blake character, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, knows where to find him. I know they introduced this thing where a different body washed up there, but it's like, it's the effing sewers. Like,
Yep.
doesn't it
I mean,
seem like there's...
this is just another example of how everything happens so fast. It's like, I don't know. If
Well,
you blink, you would miss this scene, and you're like, how did Gordon end up in the hospital?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll give credit to the editing and the screenplay because they do make it all work. Like it does it they do enough to explain why something is the way that it is. It's just quick.
Yeah, it just happens so fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So Blake goes to visit Bruce Wayne at home, a little house call, and just casually reveals, "I know you're Batman."
Yeah.
And how about this for things that you buy versus things that you don't buy? His explanation of why he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Are you buying this?
Remind me, what's the explanation? Because of
That
the
when he was a kid, he saw him somewhere at a, I don't know if it was an orphan thing, an orphan gathering. There was some thing where I don't know if Bruce Wayne visited the boys' home or something, but he just said he saw him and knew that he was like faking the whole Bruce Wayne persona. And because of that, he knew it was Batman.
yeah, a little far fetched.
Yeah, pretty good insight for a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the whole point is he's an orphan too, and I guess he recognizes their bond, and
Mhm.
he's like, oh yeah, it would take someone like that to be Batman. And I guess the fact that he's wealthy helps because Batman certainly has like all sorts of fun.
Cool gadgets.
Yeah. And it does
Tumblr.
take money. But he basically says like, hey, Gordon needs your help. All right? Like he's in the hospital and he was talking about all these guys down in the sewers and none of the other cops believe him. So you got to go talk to him. And he does. He goes to the hospital and they kind of have this little scene. And I do remember Gordon being in the hospital. That was like kind of in the trailers. And you're like, geez, what happened to him? Because he looks like messed up and he's like pulling his mask aside and he's like, the Batman has to come back.
Mhm.
What if he doesn't exist anymore? He must. Like just two weak voices. Um, and I that's like the first, indicator now that Batman is going to be coming back. And this movie is they take different ideas from different Batman things, but it's heavily influenced by The Dark Knight Returns, which is one of the more celebrated graphic novels of the Batman lore of the history of Batman, and it is he's much older in The Dark Knight Returns, but it's a similar thing where he's coming back and he's not really in his prime anymore. He's an older
Hmm.
Batman, even though it's like if Christian Bale in this movie is an older Batman, I'd love to look like Christian Bale when I'm older.
I know. I was gonna say they do a much better job of like selling that in the beginning of the movie. Like, there's the whole thing, like we already talked about it, but the
Yeah,
scene with Selena Kyle where she kicks his, she kicks his cane and he just falls over, and like he has to go, and he gets eventually he gets this like thing put on his leg, so like his knees are messed up. Like you see Officer Dangle as
yeah.
the as the doctor, and he tells him you shouldn't be spelunking or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
they do a much better job. And then like after he goes through the whole back broken situation and like climbs out of this hellhole, it just kind of forgets about the fact that he was supposed to be this old man who's like already has a bum knee and everything else, and now he's got a
Yeah.
broken back, and I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not a major complaint, but
Yeah,
it
that's
is
the other graphic novel though that was heavily used for influence on this, which is called Nightfall, which is Bane
mhm.
is the main bad guy and he did break Batman's back in that
Yeah.
story. So um though it's kind of a combination of a few ideas, and I think there's a third one in which there's like a whole section of like an occupied Gotham
Mhm.
where they blow up the bridges and everything. I can't remember what that one's called, but it's kind of those three ideas are like the main crux of the storyline. And then they mix in like some real life influence with like Occupy Wall Street was going on at this time,
Mhm.
or like in the year preceding. A lot of ideas that you would say make sense now are
Yeah.
in this movie. Like it does
Yeah.
seem a little bit timely right now with all of the, you know, kind of just ruthlessness of wealthy people is kind of
Yeah.
being targeted a little bit in this movie.
That's one of the
Something,
cool things about the Bane character, to me at least, too, is like they don't do a great job of this, but like he tries to be like a man of the people in a way. Like he goes, like when he goes to like let all the people out of Blackgate prison or whatever,
yeah,
he's trying to appeal to the regular people and be like, oh, look, all the wealthy people, look at what they are doing to you, oppressing you all, and all this and all that. And like Selena Kyle mentions that a few times too, like
yeah.
when she's dancing with Bruce at that one point, she's like, oh, how did you all think that you could live with so much and leave so little for the rest of us? So there are some really cool themes of like classism and like the haves and the have-nots that they play with those ideas in this movie a little bit, but they don't really drive it home that well, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think that's
kind of
really the
agree with
point of a
that.
Batman movie.
Yeah, it's definitely there, but it's not really factoring into the end of the movie or the conclusion of the movie at all.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
like
just
they
sort of
play
like,
with it, but it's not really that important anyways, I
yeah.
guess. I mean, it's a Batman movie, so
So
like
yeah, I mean, look, Bane is talking about it in his big speeches, but his is a ruse. Like
mhm.
his stuff, that his whole thing is that they were going to kill everyone in Gotham. So it's
Yeah.
like, so his whole
Yeah.
thing is just to like get some chaos going. Yeah, like Selena Kyle is talking about this stuff. And you know who else is talking about it, Keith? Me with that plane story, my travel woes. Like like that was the point. It's like all these airline people fired everyone, and now no one knows how to do everything, and AI is just like rebooking things, and it's like that's the point. These rich people just fired everyone.
Okay, you got me on your side. That story is staying in the pod now. I'm not going to cut it out.
Thank you. Yes, it all had a point for the people that could sit here. So along the way, Bruce has asked Alfred to research Bane. Always interesting to me in this Christopher Nolan trilogy, what the hell Alfred's past was before he was a butler.
I feel like in some of the comics he was like an assassin or like a CIA agent or
I
something weird like
it
that. I feel like I've heard that. Don't quote me,
That very
but
well could be. Yeah, I don't know, but like it's definitely so like in the Dark Knight, he talks about that mercenary they were hunting or whatever,
yeah, how
and
does he know about this?
for jewel thief or whatever that just was like throwing the blood diamonds in the trash or whatever. Like,
Uh-huh.
so there was that, and then in this one, he's like digging up all this information on Bane. He
Yeah.
was he was in oh yeah, just casually. Oh yeah, Bane was turns out he was in the League of Shadows, your mentors group, and he was excommunicated. I'm like, where is this notes on a secret society website?
Yeah, we're sounding nitpicky right now. We have to reiterate the fact that we love this movie. Just
Oh
there's
yeah,
a lot of
I
holes you can
actually
poke in it.
so for the longest time I left this as a 4.5 star movie, but I just upped it to 5 because I'm like, who am I kidding?
I
Stop
saw
lying to
that.
yourself.
I was
Yeah.
surprised. I was like, "Oh shit."
I'm like, stop lying to yourself, man. I used to because like what I said in the intro was true. Forever, I would say, all the way up through the Batman Bane fight, like everything from the beginning all the way through the conclusion of that fight, I like as much as the Dark Knight, and I would always say that. And then I always feel like it drags a little bit during the occupied Gotham thing, and then I'm just like, you know what? Not that bad though. Like
Yeah.
I love watching this movie. So who am I kidding? It's a 5 star movie for me.
Yeah, for sure.
That being said, I do enjoy making fun of everything. So
Yeah. If it's not clear at this point, if you've been listening to the show, we pretty much make fun of every movie.
yeah, I mean I pick on everything.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. Okay. Um,
Okay.
Bruce attends that party that you talked about. There's probably not too much significant to talk about there that we haven't already hit on. There's the Occupy Wall Street theme going on. Selena wearing that black dress, but we do. Marion Cotillard as Miranda Tate. She was introduced before, but her and Bruce have a whole exchange in this scene. There's a little bit of a flirtation there. People are trying to maybe push them together, but I do always think it's funny that Selena takes his car.
Yeah.
Um, and
My
when he gets
wife?
and when he gets picked up by Alfred.
Yeah. Just you, sir?
Yeah, no, Michael Caine is just
Yeah.
great. I mean, I love Michael Caine, and we'll talk about him even more beyond this
Yeah.
segment. But I mean, he is so good in
Little
these.
tease to another movie we talk about later,
Yeah,
but yeah.
he's
Continue.
just so good in these movies. So, um, the next real action sequence here is things are starting to ramp up. Now we have like the attack on the little stock market thing that they've got going, and we have a random Glenn Powell appearance.
I was gonna say this might be the first time I watched this movie and recognized him and was like, "Oh shit, it's Glenn Powell."
Yeah, Zach and I used to talk about him a lot because he was in Richard Linklater's movie Everybody Wants Some,
Yeah,
and then he was just started popping up and stuff more and more, and it always seemed like he had like the look of like a star, like he just
yeah,
is a good looking man who you thought this would happen for, and it did finally start to happen over the last few years, where I feel like he's more of a household
he is.
name, and
I feel like he is a movie star now. He like led the
yeah,
new Twisters movie, and he was in
yeah,
Top Gun Maverick, and
yeah. But he really wanted to be the lead in Top Gun Maverick. He wanted that rooster role and
okay,
didn't get it.
not
But
quite there yet.
yeah, I know. But he's good in Top Gun Maverick.
Uh-huh.
He was in some other fighter pilot movie where he is the lead. I don't know
Uh-huh.
what it
Was that
is.
like Midway or something like that? I think I didn't see
I
it.
don't know. I didn't see it. But I just remember her seeing the trailers for it. So yes, just a little bit jarring. You're like, oh yeah, recognizable face as this random stock market bro douche.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is a cool sequence. This is a long, intense like chase sequence that happens. They escape from the stock market after doing something that we're not sure what it is yet.
Hmm.
There's actually a big piece of this movie that's almost like The Big Short, like that you aren't really sure exactly what happened, and I've only understood it more, in the recent years of watching it. But they have a plan with this whole stock market thing. But the big news to everybody is Batman's back.
Hmm.
He's
And the
back.
cops are more interested when all this starts going down. The cops are more interested in catching Batman than catching Bane. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
we have oh, what's his face? Briscoe. I can't remember. It's the older, chubbier cop that's like, "Oh, you're in for a show tonight."
Oh yeah.
Um, he actually passed away, but he's a Brent Briscoe, I think is his name.
I don't have he's not
Yeah.
showing up on the
Okay.
IMDb.
No worries. I'm pretty sure that's right. But yes, they're chasing Batman now. Bane and Batman have a brief, kind of a cool, quick moment. They like pass each other on motorcycles,
Hmm.
and both are like looking back at each other.
Yeah.
Um,
This whole chase scene is pretty cool.
for sure. And the
Yeah.
score, like the Hans Zimmer score for this one, is awesome. Like
Oh, great. Yeah.
I feel like I don't even really remember noticing the score in The Dark Knight, probably because I never really paid attention to it that much. But this one, it's really noticeable to
Yeah.
me. The Hans Zimmer score throughout. If there's a part that I probably didn't like that maybe I've come around more on is the whole like chant song that happens like later in
Oh,
the
when he's climbing
ooh,
out of
ooh,
the
ah,
yeah.
ah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's cool. But
No, I'm more into it now, but it was kind of jarring for me the first time. But in general, I do think this Hans Zimmer score is like really tight, and it's definitely good during this chase sequence.
mhm.
Bane escapes. Batman is almost captured. If there's anything worth talking about here, I love the cop's delivery when he radios Matthew Modine and he's like, "He got away, sir." And he's like, so pissed. Like, how did that happen? The guy on the other end, just great delivery. He's got a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah,
you?
some of the like side like not even really characters, just like randoms that have lines in this are pretty good.
Yeah, and we cut to Catwoman confronting Daggett, played by Ben Mendelsohn. Just a terrific villain, as I talked about in the Star Wars
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One
Yeah.
episode. Just phenomenal. I
Mhm.
love Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah. He's good in this too. He
I
has some
know.
really yeah, there's just like some really cool scenes. Like I love the scene where Bane puts his hand on his shoulder when he's like thinks he's like in
Oh yeah.
control or whatever. Like
Do you feel in charge?
yeah. Yeah.
I know that's good. But Catwoman's confronting him because she got Bruce Wayne's fingerprints, which plays into this whole stock market mess, and she wants this thing called the clean slate. Now, I will say, when Daggett is kind of mocking her, saying, oh, you just put someone's name and date of birth in and it erases them from every database known to man, sound a little too good to be true, and she gets pissed. I'm like, yeah, it does sound a little too good to be true.
Don't they
That does.
doesn't she find out eventually that it doesn't really exist? Or I know there's the scene where Bruce Wayne gives her like the or he tells her he's going to give her the USB drive with it, but it doesn't actually work, right? Or am
No,
I
he gives it to her, and it's implied that it works. He gives it to
okay?
her towards like in one of their last interactions. He gives it to her,
Okay.
and it's implied that it works. I don't know. I mean,
Okay. Maybe
based on
it's
the
the
end of the
new
movie.
Batman movie where they do something similar and they say it doesn't actually exist or something. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Continue.
Yeah, I don't know. We're starting to challenge my
Yeah.
knowledge, so let's not go there because we
Okay.
don't want we don't want people to find out how much I really don't know, which is quite a bit.
Okay.
Um, but this whole thing evolves into a scene. I do enjoy her in these moments. You're kind of getting to watch all the fun little things she can do. Like she's got this whole like I don't know steel contraption on her heels that she's able to like pin his arm against the wall and knock his gun out just like using her heels. Like, and then she throws him out on that whatever window cleaning unit. Like it's kind of look. I enjoy the Selena Kyle Catwoman stuff. All right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lindsay, but I like
I'm
it.
here for it.
And then it just leads to her still confronting him on a roof, and the other mercenaries or whatever, the League of Shadow dudes start showing up, and then Batman's just there. I don't. There is. As you rewatch this, there is sort of an explanation for every scene. I can't. That I. There's something that. There's some reason why he would be trying to find her specifically, or was trying to go to Daggett. I can't remember what it is, but there is something. There's a reason that actually makes sense why he would go there. Because I was always questioning that, but
No,
there.
I even questioned it on this viewing even. I was like, why? It's kind of convenient for him to just show up right at this perfect moment when she's being attacked by all the goons.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, I think it's because they knew. You know what it is? Alfred tells um, Batman, Bruce, whatever you want to call him, that Daggett was employing Bane over in South Africa or wherever he was before.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
like it makes sense that he would be like going to like shake up Daggett or something.
Yeah. Oh, that
Because
makes sense.
at this point he's just trying to find Bane. So him and her like fight some of these dudes off. She actually tries to shoot them again, and Batman kicks the gun away, and he's like, "No guns, no killing."
Hmm.
Where's the fun in that? She says. I like her. She's fun.
Yeah. She's zesty.
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't want to go on a date with someone like that? That's just willing to kill criminals. But you know, they kind of escape. You have like Bane is like walking towards them, very slow, very jacked, and they escape in what's been introduced in this movie, the new flying vehicle, the Bat,
Hmm.
which Lucius Fox, played by Morgan Freeman, says everything works except for the autopilot.
Yeah.
They escape. They try to. They're cutting some deal together, but she ghosts him, and it's kind of a joke. Maybe not a very good one. So that's what that feels like.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny with a wink, like the first time you see it. It's like one of those moments that's like, it's funny the first time and then never again.
Yeah. They do that a little too much, like in the first two movies, I think.
Well, it's
It's
always him, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, he has it happen to him, and that's the joke. But um Bruce the next day is basically told what happened, which is they forged a bunch of deals with the stock market where he was like doing all of these, putting all these put options or whatever on futures, whatever that means, and it didn't work out. So it was like all of his money and maybe all of the company's money, something like that. And so he's broke now, which is an interesting factor. I mean, that's not something you ever expect, that Bruce is just
Mhm.
going to be completely broke. They do show Miranda Tate this reactor, which could, they've been hiding, and it could potentially have, you know, it could be turned into a weapon. And they're able to have Miranda take control of the company, which pisses Daggett off. This whole thing was supposed to be so he could take charge of Wayne Enterprises. Bane kills Daggett. This is the "Do you feel
Mhm.
in charge?" This is, but like one of the great moments from the trailer, which I always liked, just the line be in the delivery of it, is when Daggett's like, "What are you? I am Gotham's reckoning." I always liked that part, but also in the mix here, lot like we said, a lot of things happen at once. At the kind of the same time of Bruce going broke, Alfred leaves him.
Yeah, it's. I feel like this whole section is like, or this whole part of the movie, I guess, is like trying to make it be like this is Batman going to his lowest point. You know, he has no friends, he has no
Yeah,
money. He eventually, we'll get to it. He gets his back broken. Like, it's putting him as low as he possibly can be.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, definitely Alfred is like a weepy Alfred in this movie. He's
Hmm.
he's like crying a lot, and it's hard for me to not think about movies that I've referenced often on the show, The Trip with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, because they're constantly doing Michael Caine impressions,
Okay.
and they start doing them from this movie. It's like, I've buried 12 Batmans. I won't bury another member of the Wayne.
How come you never told me about this when you're trying to sell me on these movies before?
Listen, because I don't think they're for everybody. I don't know if everybody like loves the humor of them, but you would probably. There's definitely a. I think it's the third one. I think it's the trip to Italy where they're doing a whole. They're doing a whole back and forth about the Dark Knight Rises, and they're doing like Bane. They're doing Christian Bale. They're like
Well, now
talking
that I know
about.
that this is in here, I definitely want to watch them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like they're like making jokes about like which one was like more indecipherable. um, but the Michael Caine stuff is so great, and I just always think about that when he's doing these like blubbery, you know, tear filled moments of, "Yeah, I won't bury another member of the Wayne family," and he leaves, and it's kind of a shock. I think of all the things, I never expected that, but it makes sense because. Well, we know that he has some sort of crazy background, so obviously he would have been able to save Batman from certain peril or whatever. Like he needs no one. That is the point of where we're building to. Uh, Blake gives Bruce a ride home from Wayne Enterprises, so they're talking a little bit. He's kind of fishing around. He's like, "Have you found Bane yet?" And he's like, "No." I'm just like looking at maps of sewers. No one's helping me. Um, and then Miranda Tate shows up at Wayne Manor, and her and Bruce bang.
Yep, out of left field, kind of. They didn't do much building up of their relationship before this. It's just she kisses him. He's kind of down and out, and I think he's taking what he can get right here.
Yeah, well, I
A
mean,
little
we should be
comfort.
so lucky, Keith. Yeah, I mean, Marion Cotillard, a gorgeous woman. Miranda Tate does seem like she's got a little bit of an edge to her, but listen, I'm a Selena Kyle guy.
But do you think we're meant to believe that they've had like some sort of relationship? Because I wasn't getting that. It does.
I don't.
It's a little
Yeah,
jarring.
I don't think so before this. Now people were trying to push it, like Lucius, that
Yeah.
dog. He was like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, have you gotten a look at Miranda?" All right, so sexy time with Miranda Tate has concluded, and now Batman's like, all rearing to go. He's like, I gotta go find Bane, and Selena can take him to Bane. Now, I do think one of the absolute coolest shots of this whole movie happens right before the sequence where they're going into the tunnels, which is that shot of Batman just perched on that random post, like looking at the city, and it's like becoming nighttime. It's like just starting to get dark,
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
I love that shot. I mean, every
Yeah.
time they show that, I'm like, yes, this is cool. And it's like, it definitely kind of hypes you up for what's
Yeah.
about to happen.
I feel
So
like
they
they
head
do
in.
one of those shots in like every one of the movies, or at least in The Dark Knight. There's the one before
Yeah.
when they're in the other country, wherever it is, where he's going to get Lao.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's like before he dives off or whatever. It's like a
Yeah.
very similar shot. It's just him like looking like a gargoyle on the
Well,
on
I'm
the
pretty
corner
sure
of a
there's,
building. Or are you
yeah,
thinking of something else?
no, there's also one where he's on like the Sears Tower or whatever in
Yeah,
Chicago in The
yeah.
Dark Knight.
They do it a couple times, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah. It's sweet. And it's like foreboding. There's something about the time that it is too. It's like it's like the sun has set and it's still kind of light but becoming dark.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just it's really mood setting. And they get in the subway, they start making their way down to Bane, have to fight some henchmen along the way. You're like, okay, these two make quite a team, but then betrayed.
Yeah.
The untrustworthy Selena Kyle shuts the door behind him, and um, Batman turns back. You've made a terrible mistake, or whatever.
I'm pretty sure if I was 12 years old when this movie came out and I saw that moment, I'd be like, oh,
Oh yeah,
that's like,
dude, I was kind of like that at whatever age I did see this. I don't know, in my 20s.
you're like, you bitch.
I was just like, wow, that was
How
cold blooded.
how dare you betray Batman?
Yeah, it was rough, but Batman's not really scared. He hasn't been scared of Bane, and that's a big part of it. He definitely wasn't. You got to respect your opponent, and Batman just was not doing that. And we have now like kind of the middle heart of the movie, and one of the coolest scenes in the whole movie, one of the coolest scenes of the whole trilogy, where they fight. And
Hmm.
it's a quick build, a little bit of dialogue, you know. Let us not
Some really
stand on
cool lines here
ceremony.
from Bane, though.
Yeah, Mr. Wayne.
What does he say? He's like, "Victory has defeated you."
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool lines here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think one of the best choices is to use no score.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
it's just cold and brutal, and
Hmm.
it is these two dudes. It's Tom Hardy and Christian Bale doing this whole
Hmm.
sequence basically, and they're like, I mean, look, obviously it's choreographed. It's heavily choreographed. They basically, I think they kind of made up a martial arts version for the original Batman Begins. They like took something and then like made it their own or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they took that same fighting style and evolved it in this one to fit Bane's like physical style and Batman's like aggressive, relentless style, and how those two would like clash with each other. So they like evolved the martial arts like
Hmm.
style for it. But I mean, it's wild. But I mean, there's like real punches being thrown. I mean, look, obviously it's acting, it's fake, it's a movie, but like they're trying to make it look as real as possible. I mean, I think Christopher Nolan was like these two dudes were like exhausted. I think they
I
got through this whole thing after like 2 takes or whatever. Like they didn't shoot it a lot, but
I saw
um
something where some interview where Tom Hardy said that he was throwing punches as hard as he could.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like they
like
weren't actually hurting each other, but it was like a real physical thing.
yeah, yeah. And it's just cool and scary and intense. I mean,
Hmm.
dude, the suspense in the theater the first time I
Yeah.
saw this, like, and I kind of knew this the story and what was going to happen. So you like kind of know that
Yeah.
Batman's going to
But you're
lose.
still kind of scared a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah,
And like the whole part where Batman starts using his gadgets because he's getting his ass kicked, and he's like, all right, maybe if I shut the lights out, I can do this. And then Bane's like the probably one of the most
yeah.
quoted lines of the whole movie, where he's like, "Oh, you think darkness is your ally?"
I know. And then he
It's
just
great.
grabs him and beats the shit out of him more. Now in maybe Batman's most pathetic, lame moment ever, where you're just like, come on, dude. When he throws those little explosive things that go all around Bane
Oh
and
yeah,
like, what was that even supposed to do?
disorient him or something. That's what I think. I think that every time I watch this too, I'm like, what were those little?
I know.
like,
I mean, this guy is constantly pulling little things off of his belt that are like blowing shit up, and then he sends these little things out that just look like firecrackers with
yeah,
smoke, basically.
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that part makes Batman look super lame.
yeah,
Like, why were you trying to do that?
yeah.
And Batman gets the shit beat out of him, and
Mhm.
they reveal that Bane's been digging under where he hides all of his weaponry, the kind of the Batmobile things, and they're going to take that stuff to take over the city. This is one thing. This is one part where you actually, I think, have to do a little bit of thinking as to like why they would know where this stuff is because it's not revealed in the movie. But it must be that Miranda Tate's like
I was gonna say it's another Talia Miranda thing where
at her
she
access to
probably
Wayne
knows.
Enterprises, right? Like
Yeah, because
she's
she's tight with Fox. So
yeah, and I don't think you're supposed to think that he told her, but I think that she's just gotten he thinks that it's all off the books and hidden, but she's like
mhm.
gotten into whatever Wayne Enterprises systems and found it or
Yeah,
something. I think that's where you have to do a little bit of thought because you are kind of like, well, how do they know that's there?
yeah. But it is one of those moments too where if you think about it, like, did we say this while we were recording or while we weren't recording? Where you're like, there's all these different points where Miranda shows up, and you're
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh wait, so this is how they were getting screwed over all these different times.
that was not while we were recording, but
Okay.
thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Keith that I did notice that more in these last two viewings of like I know the twist at the end. Obviously, I've watched this movie a bunch of times. I know that Miranda Tate is Talia al Ghul, and like the whole time she's like a double agent. But I still never was really focusing on all of the things that are being spoiled by her
Yeah.
until these most recent viewings. Like I knew it was there, but I didn't even know how obvious the movie was making it. I just wasn't. I guess I just
Yeah.
wasn't paying that close
No,
attention
that's
or
okay.
something. Like I said, I always liked the second half of the movie less, so
Yeah.
I probably just wasn't. I just wasn't giving it that amount of time. But now it's like right there in your face that she is foiling their plans at every turn. Like the good guys' plans are being foiled at every turn because of
Yeah.
her, because she's aware of
Yeah.
what they're trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, So yeah, in the climax of that scene, Bane picks up Batman over his head, like drops him on his knee, breaking his back or whatever happens.
Pretty gnarly.
He has a vertebrae protruding, as we find out
Yeah.
later, that needs to be put back.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy. You're like holy shit, and that is the one thing that we don't see in really Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. I mean, Batman is fucked with in different ways, but there is no one that can really hang with him physically.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Scarecrow and the Joker both are kind of like little bitches compared to him in the other
Oh,
movies. Like
definitely.
he wipes the floor with them when they don't have their goons or like when
Right.
he's not like drugged up from Scarecrow's drugs or whatever. Like,
Yeah. So this is the first time we've really seen that, and Batman has his ass handed to him.
yeah.
Um, and it's intense. I mean, it's a brutal, intense sequence, and then like the movie kind of resets. So we see Selena at the airport trying to flee town. I do like this little hat. It seems like she's
Oh,
kind of yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you said that. I thought you said the hat. The part where she puts the hat up and she
Yeah.
punches through the hat. I just love that part.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
like
funny.
I like how she's. It's kind of like this throwback to old femme fatale
Uh huh.
Hollywood movies, and I just think she has that look,
Uh
and
huh.
she's still wearing that same black dress now. Before she can escape, Joseph Gordon-Levitt stops her, and I do think it's a strong. There's a few parts where I think some of the actors in this movie take lines that aren't that strong and convey them well. Like
Yeah.
like the part here where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like, when I found you, I was trying to find a friend of mine, Bruce Wayne, and her demeanor changes when he brings it up, and he's like, "Did they kill him?" And when she's like, "I'm not sure." Like
Yeah.
I think there's like good emotion in that moment.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Uh,
I agree.
so so she's being arrested, but we actually cut to Bane's prison where Bruce Wayne is now being captive. I remember from the trailers, there's that shot where he's like fuzzy and coming awake, and Bane's sitting right next to him. Um, in the trailers, I was like scared of that. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, is Bane like in Wayne Manor? Like,
Or the Batcave or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, and like, did he destroy the place or what? Like, you didn't know what it was, but that was definitely something that had me hooked from the trailer. Like, it's like one of those things where it's tough because as like a filmmaker, you probably don't want to spoil that stuff. But I mean, in terms of like getting somebody hooked,
Yeah.
you're like, I need to know like I need to know how we get to that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So, like I said, for a long time, I didn't really love now the movie. Like it kind of slows down at this part. It resets and slows down, and it is a little bit of a jutted experience. And I didn't love this stuff for a while.
I almost think I think that I'm the opposite just because of what
Yeah,
we talked about before. We're like, I don't like how fast everything moves until this point, and then when it gets to this point, it does slow down a little bit. I mean, there are points where like a lot of time jumps happen, which are a little
yeah.
bit jarring from here and there. But
Yeah, I can't remember how long they said it will take for the bomb to go off, but it's months. It's like 4 months or 6 months or something.
hmm I think I just like this kind of filmmaking more, where it's like you spend more time in one place and like get to know what's going on. It's not just like I said like before, there are moments where you if you blink or like look away for 2 minutes, you're gonna not know what's going on.
Yeah, you're right. And like I said, now I've come to like it all. So I've met you where you were, Keith.
Okay.
But we have a little bit of journey of Bruce in the prison, but he's going to go away for a little while. Basically, he's going to have this whole I need to escape storyline, which there's not much to it other than he's trying to rebuild himself and heal himself and just get out of there so he can get himself back in the fight to try to save Gotham. But meanwhile, back in Gotham, we have in probably actually the most insane thing in this movie when you talk about is it grounded in reality? Selena Kyle being put in the same prison with just all these men.
Yeah. They try to explain it away, but it's
Still so
silly.
stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that she like fucks with those dudes and like I like it's fun, like that's funny. But this is
She does a little cartwheel thing,
yeah,
which is cool.
they're gonna put like this beautiful woman in
Yeah.
this. I mean, it's just completely wild.
Yeah.
But um, then the next big Bane thing though is it's time now. Batman's gone. Now we can really like play out our whole real plan, which is to use that reactor thing and turn it into a bomb. And this is what we have Dr. Pavel for, the guy we took in the beginning. So now it's time for fear. What he was saying in the beginning that it wasn't time for, we've made it. And they do this all at with the bomb and announced this to everybody at Heinz Field, a place where I spend a lot of time. It's now Acrisure Stadium, and Lindsay and I go to all of the University of Pittsburgh football games that are also there every season. So how about that, Keith? A little bit
Does
of
that
a.
bum you out? Does it bum you out that it's not Heinz Stadium anymore?
So you and me don't talk about like sports stuff like too much, but I'll tell you this, like it does bum me out for this reason. Like there's so few like football, baseball, basketball, hockey stadiums, arenas, whatever that actually have a name that like ties back to their city. Like
Hmm.
everything is like I'm okay with even having sponsors, but all the sponsors are like banks or like
Yeah.
insurance companies. Like at least Heinz, like Heinz ketchup, something that had like was part of the DNA of the city, actually being in the name, I thought was cool. And there's still some of it around, but there's not that much. It was already kind of rare that like places actually had a name or a sponsor that actually tied back to the DNA of that city. So that
Well,
that part,
I'm
yeah,
sure you know why I ask is because Miller Park is no longer Miller Park in
yeah,
Milwaukee,
yep,
which is
same
a
thing.
big bummer.
Yes,
Everybody
yes,
here hates that. We're like,
yeah.
dude, some people still call it Miller Park, even though it's actually American Field or something like that. Some stupid insurance company owns
I
it now
know
or whatever. But yeah,
it stinks. It's really. I mean, look, it's another one. It's the corporate greed.
yeah,
I mean, I would take it. Look, if I'd be fine with being rich like tomorrow. But if I
Mhm.
was one of these dudes, I would be like, I would take a lower sponsorship deal to keep that name in place because that's
Yeah.
like I don't I would like it's like I don't know what the figures were, but if Heinz was like, we don't want to pay for the sponsorship deal anymore, I'd be like, you know what, we're just going to permanently name it Heinz Field. Like,
Yeah.
uh, you know, um, so yeah, that part is a bummer. Now I was down walking around the stadium the day they were filming this scene, and I was trying to remember, were you there?
I don't think so.
Okay, okay.
If I was, I don't remember.
No, I think you would remember. We did go walk around. It was kind of. I feel like it was maybe the next summer after you came to visit. Remember there was that summer where a bunch of you guys came for July 4th and we went down into town.
Hmm.
I feel like it was maybe the next summer after that.
I
That
think I
they were.
remember being there once, and you were talking about how they filmed stuff. But I think when I came to visit, it was after they were done filming, and
Yeah.
you were just telling me about it.
So
But
we just
yeah.
walked down around the stadium and you could see like the helicopter up in the sky that was doing the shots and you could see people in the stadium. Now the stadium isn't really full like
Hmm.
it looks in the movie. They only had it like one side of it full and they'd move people around. But yeah, it just it is a memory. I was there. It was super hot out, but like all the people in the stadium were wearing jackets
Yeah,
because it's
that's a funny thing about the movie. Yeah, just one of the fun facts is like all the like winter stuff was actually filmed during a heat wave,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
hot here. I couldn't believe that those people were wearing like jackets and
Huh.
stuff in the.
Like I think even like the fight scene at the end or something was during a heat wave, right?
Yeah, well, so like some of the fight scene is in New York, I think, but like the part where they're like actually on the steps,
Yeah.
where they're fighting on the steps right before they go inside the building, that's
Hmm.
in Pittsburgh. That's in Oakland where the university is, and I drove by there when they were filming that too. But you couldn't get close. Like they had movie trailers like
Yeah.
all around like
Hmm.
leading up to it and it was I mean it was packed like it was just there was just so much shit so you couldn't like
Yeah.
actually see but I was right down by there where they were filming that too but yes agreed that was also hot and Batman and Bane were wearing like those outfits and stuff there's like a hilarious photo of them like I don't know like smile like laughing at each other when they're like embraced and fighting or whatever from that um but yeah, so this is where everything's revealed. They're going to occupy the city. They've got this bomb. All the cops are now trapped under the city in the sewers. The bridges have been blown out, and this is what life is going to be. Bane incites people to whatever free all of the prisoners because we have Gordon's little confession that he acquired from him back in the beginning of the movie about what really happened with Harvey Dent. It works for the movie. I don't really know that you need this stuff in it. It I I get why it's there. It works. It's part of it. I just like the whole tie back to the like reading Gordon's speech about what they did with Dent. it feels like they want to do it like because I get its purpose. I just feel like so much shit has happened that it's like, who cares?
Yeah,
Like there's,
it's not really needed, but
there's a bomb and
yeah,
it's gonna go off. I mean, but even like like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, like Blake, is like when he hears this, is like tisk tisk, Commissioner
yeah,
Gordon. Like he's kind of like,
yeah. He tries to like take the high road on it. He's
yeah,
like, what you guys did was messed up, and it's like, really, is it that messed up?
I
I don't
know, like
know.
it does seem crazy. Did you see Gotham before? Because we did.
Yeah,
We saw it in the last movie, and it didn't seem great.
yeah. I don't
Um,
know. I feel like that's one of those debates you can probably have about the movie and kind of like decipher
yeah,
something about yourself or whatever if you're on the Joseph Gordon-Levitt goody two shoe side where you'd like think I don't know think that stuff like that shouldn't happen, but I don't know.
yeah. I mean, maybe he's a little too idealistic about stuff.
Hmm.
Special forces are sent in. They're quickly found out and then killed and then hung from the bridges. That's that. I mean, I bring it up just because that is like kind of grim. Like,
That part is dark. It
yeah,
reminded me of when we talked about the Sicario when we did the episode on Sicario, where there's a scene where they're driving into Juarez or wherever, and they see the bodies hanging from the
yeah,
bridges or whatever. And like during this scene in this movie, like intense music is playing, and it's
yeah,
like you see him from far away. It's like a news helicopter view that you see it from or something.
yeah.
Um,
But
but that's really what pushes Bruce over the edge to be like, I really need to like train and get
yeah,
out of here.
it's definitely pushing things up tonally. Like that's like
Hmm.
a darker tone even than
Hmm.
maybe what you're used to in these movies in general. You're like, holy
Yeah,
shit, that it seems like really
yeah.
real and graphic. Even though, yeah, it's a faraway shot, but the idea of it is pretty
Well, there's it
harsh.
reminded me too of the scene from The Dark Knight where the guy gets hung and
Uh huh.
he's in the fake Batman suit or whatever. So
Yeah,
they haven't not done stuff like this before in these movies, but that yeah, it's pretty dark.
yeah. So yes, to your point, he now is. He's been trying to escape using this rope, and he always falls down into the pit again, and it looks pretty effing painful.
I know we were joking about that. Me and my wife Chris were joking about that. We're like, I'm pretty sure if you fell that far and like all you had was a rope around your stomach, you're breaking some ribs or like some internal bleeding is happening. I don't know.
Or breaking the rope and plummeting to your death.
Yeah.
But he also like slams his head against the wall. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely like in concussion protocol for the days
Hmm.
following. And finally, the blind doctor dude there, who apparently operated on Bane and like maybe messed up, um, he is like, "Oh yeah, well you didn't fear death. You don't fear death. You know, that's why you can't make it." And Bruce is like, "What are you talking about? I fear death. I fear dying in here." And he's like, "Well, lose the rope. That's how you're gonna get the energy to do this."
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, we'll give losing the rope a shot. It's like, well, it's one try, Bruce. You only get one, and he makes it. He makes it out. He hears all these stories about the boy. Well, it's not the boy. It's the child who survived. The child of Ra's al Ghul. So it's tying back to the Batman Begins stuff. But that's what he learns about
Hmm.
in the prison. Bruce, uh, you do wonder what his travel arrangements were to get back to Gotham.
I know the guy that he's like cellmates with or something like makes a joke about that. I think the first time he tries to escape, he's like, "Oh, you're making he's like those are your travel provisions or whatever."
Yeah,
Like,
and it's like
his little sack of like water and bread or whatever.
there's nobody around. I mean, it seems like this place is in the middle of the desert with just desolate nothingness all around it, and I
Yeah.
don't know. He makes it back to Gotham. I mean, look, we know he's resourceful.
Hmm.
uh, so he gets in, even though nobody else really can effectively, and he meets back up with Selena, who's surprised, but she never reveals it. But you sense that she's kind of happy to see him and know that she didn't get him killed.
Hmm.
And he cuts one more deal with her, which is like, get me to Fox, because it's basically implied that he needs Fox to get like to wherever Batman stuff is.
Yeah. He needs his gadgets and his bat suit again.
Yeah.
For some reason he can't he can get back into the city, but he can't get into his
Yeah,
backup
it does
batsuit
seem like he
layer.
should. Yeah, I know. It seems like he should have been able to do that, but
Yeah.
that's okay. It's just another part where, Miranda is in the mix and foiling plans, but they briefly escape with Lucius. So, Batman's getting back in the game, but we have Scarecrow back in the mix. How do you feel about this?
I think it's cool just because I'm a big Cillian Murphy fan. Like,
Yeah,
and
he's
I
great.
like the Scarecrow character in Batman Begins. So, and I like the whole like bad court. What's that called? Like
I don't know. I don't.
there's a name for like a fucked
Uh,
up court like
a
that. I can't
kangaroo
remember.
court.
Kangaroo court. Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever. But I like the idea of them doing that. I don't know
yeah.
why. I just think it's cool.
It is kind of fun. He's kind of doing it in like a seemingly intentionally hokey way.
Yeah, yeah. Like his seat that he's sitting in is like built up on all this like old rubble or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like he's sitting like 30 feet above everybody else, and yeah, he's got this weird, almost more scarecrowy looking like jacket on too. I don't know if you noticed that on
yeah.
this viewing, but
Anyway, he's sending everyone out to the ice to die because it is
mhm,
winter now,
yeah,
and he's sending Commissioner Gordon and everybody out there, and I think this part is pretty cool. Not necessarily Batman attacking these people on the ice. I mean, what are those? Even the little Batman dart things.
yeah. They have like
Yeah.
sleeping something on a.
But I love when he like tosses or Gordon finds the flare and he's like light it up.
Yeah, it's a pretty badass moment.
Yeah, and like there's the giant like Batman flame thing on the bridge, and that you
Uh,
can see through the whole city. And I still think that part is cool. A cut to
oh, I do.
Bane.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
too.
and
It's a
Bane's
cool
just
moment too in Matthew Modine's house. I
yeah,
think you see like I think him and his kids see it or something, and that's the moment where he flips because we haven't really talked about him much, but he's kind of been just like a douchey like other cop character
yeah, for
fully
sure.
throughout the movie.
He was like,
Um,
I mean, I've talked about it before with directors liking to round out their cast with like recognizable people towards the bottom of the list, and I feel like Matthew Modine is the version of that in this movie. He was like
yeah.
an easy person for me to like just dismiss when I was like doing the notes for this because it's like
Uh-huh.
he's in it. He kind of has some pivotal moments, but it's like this movie could exist without him.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I feel like his role is kind of important because like there's a whole thing of make like the whole bit where the cops are going after him rather than Bane and all that is kind of important, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. They needed like I guess he's like the anti-Gordon, even though
yeah,
he is portrayed as someone who likes Gordon, but
hmm,
he represents the other part of the police force.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I don't really know where I was. Oh, I guess this is after the light
they
it
light
up.
up the sign. The
Yeah,
sign gets lit
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. And Bane is like impossible or whatever.
Yeah, it scares him a little bit when he sees
Yeah,
that too. Yeah,
yeah. And but it's cool. And there's just some other stuff that basically like every plan is being foiled by the good guys. Bane has taken Miranda Tate, and Batman is now going to help Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Blake, um, free all the cops to get an army to go attack Bane. And this is where they're going to have the final showdown. It's a big hand-to-hand combat / guns fight.
I know it's a little silly. It's like it's almost like a scene from Gladiator or something where all
Yeah,
the cops storm the Batman called he's like all out assault
yeah.
on Bane or whatever.
There are a couple of lines in this movie that I'm like, man, that's not that strong. And one of them is like
Uh-huh.
coming up when they're leading into this final confrontation. There's a little bit of fighting that happens, but eventually Batman and Bane face each other, and Bane's like, "So you came back to die with your city?" And but Batman, that part's fine, but like Batman goes, "No." I came back to stop you. And I'm like, that's the line?
Yeah, you think the Nolans could have come up with something a little better.
Yeah, I don't have a suggestion, so I guess it's like this is bad criticism for me right
Yeah.
now. But like, no, I came back to stop you just seems so lame.
Yeah. I mean, it comes with the territory with comic book stuff though. You got
Yeah.
to have those corny lines that, most people think are cool, but
Well, I'll tell you one
um,
that I like that's also like it's not a line that on paper you aren't blown away by, but before this when he's talking to Selena about, hey, take my cool ass motorcycle and blow some holes in the rubble and you can but make sure you go get some people and let them out too. And she's like, "No, I'm blowing that thing and getting out of here," or whatever.
yeah.
Um
It's like save yourself or whatever.
yeah, no, it's just like come with me, you know, you don't have to do this. You've given these people everything. And but when he's like, "Not everything. Not
Not
yet."
yet or yeah.
I'm like crying when he does that.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that line is super important too because up until like the very last minute of the movie, spoiler, everybody knows what ends up happening.
yeah,
I actually thought he died. I thought he
of
actually,
course. Yeah, I
sacrificed
mean that
himself.
that's the
And
way it's
yeah.
that's the way it's played. And so that he finally beats Bane in hand-to-hand combat, knocking his mask. The
Mhm.
crazy, well, I guess one thing that jumps out during the fight is when Bane like is mad and like punching that pillar, and it's
Oh
like
yeah, he's like
blasting.
punching holes in the
You're
cement.
like,
Yeah.
well, if this guy can punch through cement, I mean, wouldn't he be like destroying your internal organs with like
Yeah.
one punch?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just nuts. But Batman kind of gets the upper hand on him and is like interrogating him, like, who's the whole idea? I didn't even bring it up, but the whole idea of like a random Gotham citizen having like the trigger to the bomb is like
Yeah, that didn't need to be there.
so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they're just throwing a lot of different things into it, but
Uh-huh.
Batman's like, there's no way you would do that, which of course we were all
Yeah.
thinking it.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just like beating him, trying to get him to answer something, and then this is where we have the big turn and we reveal that Miranda Tate is actually Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul,
Hmm.
and yeah, okay, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. And it's just a way to tie everything back together. Talia al Ghul, of course, was a character um, from the series as well, or from the comics, and makes more sense that it's her. Whereas like Bane being Ra's al Ghul's kid, like didn't really make
Yeah.
sense from the history standpoint. So this kind of ties everything together. We find out Bane has kind of been her protector,
Hmm.
and she's stabbing Bruce Batman for a long time. I mean, she's really holding that knife in there.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, Bane, let him live. There, I got to go make sure that this bomb really goes off in 12 minutes or whatever, and we'll all be dead. Good, great times here in Gotham, but nice knowing you." And it's
Hmm.
like, that's the plan. Who is this for? Um, and she takes off, and this is like, I don't know. I always find this part kind of interesting that Bane is like going to go against her. It's like he does
Yeah.
have I don't
Yeah, he
know.
says something he says something like, "All right, we both know that I have to kill you now, right?"
Yeah,
And it actually leads to a pretty cool moment though because I love the fact that Selena comes back and like just blows him away.
yeah. I love that too, and I loved it in the theater because it was like jump out of your chair, scary. Because
Yeah. He
he,
goes
he
flying like 10 feet.
well, right before it though is the part that was so intense. Like you'll just have to imagine the fire, and he sticks a shotgun right in
Yeah.
his face, and he's like about to pull the trigger, and then you
Uh-huh.
just hear a loud blast. So it's like when you don't know what it is, you're like, holy shit, did he just blow?
Yeah.
And so it all happened so fast, and
Mhm.
yeah, she blows him away, and this was her redemption. She came back for him, so she does care about more than just herself.
Mhm.
But now they have to go stop crazy ass
Yeah.
Talia al Ghul. So it's another long chase sequence. But when they finally get her, there's a hilarious part. She crashes down into the thing, and then there's this shot where she's just like dying in this car thing, this
She's
truck.
like hunched over. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's hunched over, but dude, there's this. It's only like 2 seconds, but it cuts to Batman, Gordon, and Selena Kyle just looking at her telling this story. And if you just like freeze it on that shot, it's like hilarious. We're just like,
I didn't notice that this
oh my
time,
god,
but
just
I'll
watch it next time, just because like it's such a quick shot, but it's just. I mean, it's normal, but it's just funny because it's just like these. This bomb is like about to go off, and they're just like
yeah.
standing there listening to her tell this story. And
Yeah.
and then she has probably like one of the worst on-screen fake deaths that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty
She's just like,
bad.
ugh. She
Yeah,
just like
it's pretty bad.
drops to the side and it's over. But I don't care. I'm in. I'm in. And then it's like Batman's big moment. Here, I can
Well,
fly
it's
this thing
also
away.
like nobody. Here's another thing that just kind of bothered me a little bit, though, is like he just got stabbed in the guts, and now he's flying his Batwing around, and it's like, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you're
he's
meant to believe
resilient.
that maybe he's like bleeding out a little bit, but he's okay. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Remember when we used to play those like Nazi zombie video games?
Yeah, it's like
And
you
like,
heal over time.
well, no, yeah, well, it wasn't that. Remember, if someone would be down, but then you could go like press X next to them for like 2 seconds, and then they'd be like
Yeah,
back up.
that was Catwoman.
Yeah,
She went up to Batman and pushed X.
she did whatever that. Yeah, whatever that move was. That's she healed him.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's like, well, one thing that I also don't really like about why didn't they just put more time on the thing? Like,
Yeah, because it seems like you're supposed to believe that he ejected somehow, and the autopilot that was supposed to not be fixed but was fixed, which was like, I don't know. To me, that was like they were playing that up too heavy earlier on in the movie. It's like, why are they
sure,
mentioning this so many times? You know?
yeah, no,
But
agreed that they do broadcast it. They do broadcast what's coming. The whole thing
uh-huh.
about telling you about the autopilot,
Yeah,
that that's gonna factor in, right? So,
yeah,
um, they do that, but I just mean like, it, they basically are like, oh, you only have like 30 seconds to get clear of this place now. Why didn't they just make it like 2 minutes or something? I mean,
yeah.
it's just like not enough time
Hmm.
for him to get. I think they say the blast radius of the bomb is like 6 miles or 9 miles or something. And I know he's got
Hmm.
a flying vehicle that can probably move pretty fast, but they got to hook this thing up and fly it away.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
don't
he
know.
is, like you said, he's killing time by watching by watching Talia die, and
I
then he
know.
kills time by talking to Gordon, and then he kills time by making out with Catwoman too.
I would have only done one of the three things.
I can guess which one that is.
Well, I'll never tell.
I won't say though.
No, it probably would have been talking to Gordon. Let's be real.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, he gives Gordon a clue as to who he was, which Gordon figures out. And then yeah, like we kind of have the score changes to like a chorus for a second, kind of,
Hmm.
and he flies the bomb over the water and it blows up,
Yeah.
and you're like, that's the end of Batman. And to be honest, dude, before this movie came out, I didn't see it right away because you had seen it first, and I was kind of hearing people say that Batman died in the movie. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know, why people were saying that. I don't know if it was like,
Maybe they got up and left before the final like 3 seconds of the
yeah,
movie.
misinformation or something, but I was kind of hearing that, so I was like, maybe he is dead. I don't know. I mean, I really, I mean, I was like, they were really playing up that autopilot thing, though. I mean, like, why would they do that if it wasn't a surprise that he really fixed it or something?
This is
And
a this is an interesting point of contention though, because I remember earlier on, like when I first saw the movie, I kind of wished that they would have just killed Batman off. And I feel
yeah,
like we had this discussion where we were like, I would have liked the movie a little more if he just died. Like, I don't know why they had to make it so he lived. Like, it's kind of
yeah.
it doesn't bother me that much, but I wish they would have just killed him off. You know?
I think I was that way at the time. But I'll tell you, one of the things that has grown on me over the years is I actually love this montage ending. I
Yeah.
I find this ending to be so satisfying, like the slow build where they're taking you through things,
Hmm.
and like whatever happens with Robin that you already talked about, where it's like, there's like a little bit of a nod, like, okay, he's going to
Hmm.
be the symbol that keeps going,
Yeah.
and he's going to be the next generation of whatever it is, whether he's like, taking up the mantle of Batman, or he's going to go by Robin. Like he's just going to continue this symbol of hope for the
Mhm.
city. Um, Now it feels like he's got a long way to go. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't. I mean, do we think that he can fight like Batman can? I mean, we didn't really see any evidence of that.
Yeah, he didn't get the League of Shadows ninja training that Bruce
No.
Wayne got, but it is badass. I'm trying to remember. I should know this because we're doing a podcast about it. But the final shot, the final shot of the movie is him standing on the platform, right?
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. I no, that's not the last one. The last shot is the Alfred sequence.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was Robin on the platform or the Alfred, you know,
Look,
dinner
I
sequence.
wouldn't,
Either way.
I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I felt like it's the Alfred thing because that's like the big, I mean, that's the big reveal. You know,
Yeah.
that's where they finally.
This
I
is an
mean,
example of how bad my memory is. I just watched this movie like 2 days ago, and I can't remember what the final final
well,
shot
to be
is.
fair, I mean, the end is a montage, so it's a lot of
Yeah.
things cut together and like
Uh-huh.
really quickly over like this kind of like score that's bumping and
Yeah.
yeah, there's a pace to it, so it is understandable. And I mean, I can't say definitively what the last shot is, but that's the thing that that's the fate of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. But we have Fox asking the people that work at Wayne Enterprise about the software for the autopilot, and he's like, I just needed to know
Yeah.
what I could have done to fix it or whatever. And they're like, but it was fixed. And he's like, what's the
Yeah.
name on the software patch? And they're like, Bruce Wayne. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
That's what the
okay.
moment when like the 12-year-olds that are crying in the theater are like, oh, wait,
And me.
he's still
And
alive.
yeah, and me. The
Yeah.
12-year-old and me. Um, but the best, Alfred had told this story early on in the movie about during the Batman Begins era where Bruce was just off doing whatever the hell he was doing in these other countries. I don't know. Like, but Alfred would go to this restaurant in, I don't know, France or Italy or something. I think it's
Mhm.
Italy. And he would just order a Fernet and hope that he'd just see Bruce there and they wouldn't talk and they would just acknowledge each other. And I'm like, Alfred's ordering a Fernet. Who does he think he is? Dave Carl?
Fernet is not good.
Yeah, Fernet about it. But then it happens. He sits down, he orders his Fernet Branca and in a little shot glass or whatever, and he looks across and what do you know? We have Bruce and Selena and they're smiling and looking like they're enjoying life, and Bruce just gives him a nod and Alfred nods back and starts tearing up again, of course. And that's it. That's your movie, people. And I do remember always being like, for years I was real nitpicky about this part. I was like, really? I mean, I know Alfred told the story about wanting this to happen, but he
The
was a
fact that it does
blubbering
happen.
mess. He was a blubbering mess when Bruce was dead. That he's not going to go up and say, Bruce, great to see you, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But guess
It's a little
what?
hokey.
But now I love it. Now,
Yeah.
I'm good now. I don't know what happened, but now I'm like, I love this ending. I love that he tells the story earlier, and I love that they just do this, and I love that this is the end of the movie. So I'm just like a mark for The Dark Knight Rises at this point.
Yeah. I'm here for it too. I think that I was anti Bruce making it out, you know.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a little too far fetched.
Well,
But I'm I'm with you now. I
it's
like it.
I mean it's not far fetched. Well, yeah,
There's
it is
enough
far
doom and gloom in the real world that I'm okay with this movie ending on like a more positive note.
yeah, I think I would like this movie just as much if he did die. Like
Hmm.
but I like this too. I'm good with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's The
Okay.
Dark Knight Rises. Do you have anything that you need to tack on that we didn't hit?
Nope, I'm good. All right, Matt. That was The Dark Knight Rises. Time to move on to our homework section of the show. And I asked you to watch Bronson, or you suggested Bronson, kind of. And
Well,
I said, yeah, let's do it.
I knew that Bronson was a movie that you liked, and obviously there's a tie-in with The Dark Knight Rises because Tom Hardy is
Mhm.
the lead in Bronson and is super jacked in it, and
Yeah.
it ties back to a conversation that we had years ago where I was like, "Wow, Tom Hardy!" Which at the time I think I only knew from Inception, and he's like didn't I just wasn't a guy that I pictured being like this hulking Bane character. And you were like, I don't know, dude. He got pretty jacked for Bronson. Have you seen that? And I was like, nope.
Yeah.
And I still hadn't seen it 10 years later after we had that conversation or whatever,
So
13 years later.
this is you admitting that you don't watch the movies that I say are cool.
I'm not good at well, it's funny that we do this segment because I'm actually not I'm for some reason I am like really adverse to doing things that feel like an assignment.
Yeah.
If someone tells me that I should do this or somebody like forces me to take something to borrow, I like won't do I don't know. It's like a disorder.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, tell me what to watch because I'm so indecisive. I need somebody to tell me what to do.
Well, it hasn't been a problem for me doing this show. And maybe I'm just like finally getting better in my old age, but it really. I mean, there were times where people would be like, "Oh, you should borrow this book," and then they just give it to me, and I'm like, I'm never reading this. But it wasn't because I wasn't interested. It felt like I was being forced to do something. I guess so
Okay.
then I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't as much on the surface. It was a subconscious thing, but like. I don't know. At least I'm better at it now. So yeah, Bronson finally watched. Again, it's a jacked Tom Hardy, jacked out of his mind, and bald. I think right. He's just rocking that
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
mustache.
Yep.
Directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who I like, don't love. I kind of feel like the way I talk about David Lynch, like Nicholas Winding Refn, is that way for a lot of people. Like he's the kind of director that pushes the envelope and makes like kind of weird movies. I did like Bronson. Bronson's up there for me now in his movies. Like
Yeah. It's
it's
my
probably like
second favorite of his, only because Drive is like a masterpiece. But
yeah, I would agree that it's like Drive and in Bronson for me. Bronson definitely seemed to have like some Kubrick influence.
hmm
There was definitely some A Clockwork Orange like crossover, even like with the music and like even like the
yeah.
tone.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
lot of like weird, dark comedy that feels very similar to Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. I
Um,
definitely liked how weird it is, for sure. Like that
mhm.
was like welcome. I was definitely like loving the
I think
vibe.
if you cut out the like weird interludes where Tom Hardy is just talking to this this like audience
Yeah.
in a theater, if you take those parts out, I don't think the movie's actually that weird though. I mean, Tom Hardy's character definitely does some weird stuff.
And he kind of
Like
said weird
particularly
stuff.
at the end of the movie when he's like all the stuff when he starts going to like art class or whatever. That it gets pretty weird towards the end there, but I feel
Yeah.
like so if you're not familiar with the movie, it's based on a true story. Actually, it's about this guy who's like a notorious, like the most notorious prisoner in England. I can't think of his real name because Bronson is like the fake name that he gets given in the
Yeah, he
movie.
basically takes the name of the actor Charles Bronson, who we talked about one of his movies
Yeah,
like pretty recently.
yeah,
And yeah, but he goes by Charlie Bronson.
hmm
And it's interesting. I mean, he basically kind of talks about how he wanted to be famous and he couldn't really be famous like the ways that other people get famous, like having
you
a
get a little
podcast about movies.
montage. You get a little montage in the beginning of him saying like he grew up in a very normal family, which is like similar to the one of the similarities to the Droogs or whatever in A Clockwork Orange, right? They come from like normal families,
Yeah.
but he's just like I don't know, he just loves to get into fights and he just loves doing all this bad stuff and doing crime and whatever. Um, but yeah, so you get a
Also,
little montage of him fighting and stuff, and then yeah, like you said, he says that he wants to be famous, and the only way he can do it is by getting into fights.
yeah, also a league leader in the amount of C words that are being dropped in this movie.
Yeah.
Just croissant all over the
Uh,
place.
yeah, I feel like that's definitely a British thing. They fling that word around a lot more than we Americans do.
Yeah, I think so. It's part of the nomenclature for sure. But yeah, no, I did like it, and it's sort of weird that it's Nicholas Winding Refn. I don't know why, but it just seems weird that it's him. I guess his movies have gone on to be like highly stylized, and this one's not really.
Yeah, this was like Was this an earlier one of his? I don't know how much stuff he
Yeah.
did before
He
this.
did. I mean, he did. I think he did this thing called like the Pusher trilogy or something, which I've never seen any of those movies
Yeah.
either. And I think those were before this.
Yep. This. Yeah. So his IMDb, Pusher 2 and 3 were right before Bronson in 2004 and 2005. Um, yeah, he did Pusher, Bleeder, some TV series, and then yeah, the Pusher movies, and then Bronson. But which I'm
Well,
actually excited. I've never seen any of the Pusher movies, but I know Second Sight I think is putting out the trilogy
okay, I might
to,
have to
for the
pick that up
physical.
just because. Yeah, I'm interested. So it's. I mean,
It
it's something that.
stars it stars Mads Mikkelsen too, I think, which
Oh,
I love
okay.
Mads.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
for sure. But yeah, that's Bronson. I mean, if you haven't seen it, check
yeah.
it out. It's nothing but uplifting stuff. That was.
Yeah, it is one of those movies that I think I liked more back in 2008 or whenever it came out because it was like very, I don't know, it was just one of those movies that was fun to watch with like your like bros, you know?
Yeah,
Because
Tom
a lot of the
Hardy.
movie is just literally just violence. He's just getting into fights and being crazy about it, you know? But
He's also super nude in it.
yeah, he's not afraid to show his wiener off, much like
No,
Richard Gere in the last episode we talked
that's
about a
true.
bunch of.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Lindsay, when I was talking about the movies we were doing for the show, I kind of like give her a list, and I'm like, okay, so we can. She was really anti watching The Cell. I don't know. She just had a
Really?
bad taste in her mouth about, I guess, like what she thought it was from Jennifer Lopez being in a movie at that time or something. Something. She was just like, nah, I'm not really in on The Cell. She's like, oh, Bronson with Tom Hardy, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know though. I don't know if this is gonna be for you. And she definitely didn't make it through the whole thing. It's I don't think she was digging it,
Okay.
but I dug it.
That's fine.
I mean,
It's definitely not a Lindsay movie, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, she's hard though because she does love like Wolf of Wall Street, which is also a very crass movie. But
Yeah, okay.
yeah, so it's tough to get a read on her. But I mean, Bronson is Bronson. You can understand could be a tough sell,
Yeah, yeah.
but I liked
Okay.
it, Keith.
All right.
So
Well,
I asked you to watch Get Carter, which I have a cool copy of. It's a
I was wondering if there was a
BFI.
cool
Yeah,
BFI, okay.
yeah.
I like
Um,
that cover.
no, it's sweet. Yeah, and it's a 4K, and it's there's all sorts of cool little inserts, of course. Like look at this sweet picture of Michael Caine with a
Is that
shotgun.
like a chunky box? That's like a nice hard box.
Yeah, yeah. It's a chunky
At least.
box. It's a chunky box, and although it's got one of these flimsy things
Oh, the
on
J
it that
card.
I
I'd
don't.
throw those in the trash.
I know, but this one was actually it's actually like taped on in the front, so I'm like I'll keep it.
Oh, that's what the second site releases come like that too, I think. And I just
Yeah.
take them off.
Well, all in Cinematograph, who my beloved Cinematograph, theirs are like that too, and
Yeah.
I mean at least some of them are, and I don't like those. I don't know why they do that. If you're
Yeah.
and then why can't you just print this stuff on the back of the
I
box?
totally agree. Yeah, I don't know
It's a
why.
huge problem. When we open our boutique label, we are not going to design our boxes that way.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of, I mean, like the lines that they do in the Trip movies, like they keep doing two lines like over and over. One is, "You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off," which is from the Italian Job. But then the other line they keep doing is like, "She was only 16 years old," and it's not in Get Carter. It was in like the trailer for Get Carter or something.
I was gonna say I don't remember hearing that line.
Yeah, it's not in it, but they like in the Trip movies they keep doing like those two lines like over and over, and it just always cracks me up. So I was like, because Lindsay was like, "Isn't the?" Because she loves watching those movies. She's like, "Isn't the? She was only 16 years old in Get Carter." And I'm like, I can't remember, but I was like, I had to look it up because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not even in the movie, and yeah, it wasn't in Get Carter. It was like in like the trailer for it or something.
Well, I
So
guess I wasn't familiar with this movie. I knew that, or I guess when I looked it up, I saw that there's a remake from like the early
yeah, with
2000s of this
Sylvester
movie.
Stallone.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. Have you seen that?
I've never seen it. No.
No. It didn't look as good as this.
Yeah,
But this
this
is
is
like a
great.
very 70s movie. It's
Yeah.
basically Michael Caine. The reason why you assigned this to me is because Michael Caine's in
Yeah.
it. basically he plays like a gangster, but he's kind of like a low level gangster, right? He's not like
Yeah.
he's a he's a gangster who finds out that his brother died. So he goes to this small town. I think he's like based in London or some bigger city, but he goes to this smaller town where his brother died to kind of like investigate because there's like something fishy about it. Like he died in a car accident, and they said that he was drunk, but he doesn't believe that basically. Um, but so the whole movie is him like investigating this, but it's it's pretty fun because he's kind of like a ladies' man. He's like swooning he's like getting with the lady who runs the bed and breakfast that he's staying at, and there's
Yeah.
this other gangster in this small town where he's like kind of getting with his lady too, and I don't know. He's kind of like a bad James Bond in this. I don't
Yeah, and I
know.
think that it's sort of like it's I think appropriate that you bring up James Bond because I think this movie was like a little bit of an answer to James Bond movies where it was like instead of being like hokey action, let's make it like gritty action, which kind of ties back into the Christopher
Uh-huh.
Nolan stuff a little bit, you know, like
Yeah,
this was 71, so I mean it's like you know, after French New Wave, the new Hollywood in America has started,
hmm,
and I think this was a little bit of, you know, the British like answer to all of that. Like I'm sure other stuff was happening, but part of
yeah,
that whole thing of just like we're known for kind of like this smirking, cocktail drinking, you
yeah.
know, action heroes. Like let's give somebody like a real anti-hero from the dark side, you know?
Yeah, he's definitely an anti-hero for sure. He's
Yeah.
like not a great guy, but you root for him because the other bad guys are worse than him, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the criticisms is like he never really shows any remorse for any of like the bad stuff that he does. Like, there's
Yeah.
that part where he like throws that dude off the building,
Yeah, he
which,
just kind of walks away from that.
but that guy like lands on a car and like injures other people and maybe kills
Yeah.
people, and he just is like whatever, just walks
I
away.
mean, it's a little it's a little fuzzy too to me like what that guy actually did. I think cuz it gets a little convoluted at the end who's involved in what.
Yeah,
But you find out I'm fine with spoiling this, are you? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
you
It's
find out
it's
that
71.
the reason basically his brother was killed was because his niece, his brother who died's daughter, was in somehow coerced into being in this like porno,
Yeah,
and he, I don't know, it gets a little fuzzy for me here. Like he finds out, so he goes to confront the guy who had the film made or something, and that's why he was killed. Maybe I don't know.
I mean it's a tangled web of gangsters that are and they're all involved. Like
Yeah.
they're
But it basically just turns into it's no longer an investigation, it's more of a revenge story. He's like,
yes,
"Oh, this is fucked up that you put my niece in this dirty video, so now I'm gonna go kill everybody involved," basically.
correct.
Um, so that's what it turns into. And then I was very surprised by the ending. I don't know why though,
Yeah.
because the more of these like 70s movies that you assign to me, like I before starting this show, I was not that well versed in 70s stuff. Like I'd seen the classics, you know, like The Shining and
The Godfather.
Jaws and Alien, like all the like big hits, like some
Yeah.
of the best movies ever, but like getting more into this like deeper cut stuff, like you talk about the old Hollywood and the new Hollywood a lot.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn what the new Hollywood is, kind of, where, like you were saying, it's like this answer to like the glamorous stuff in like 30s and 40s and 50s was, you know?
Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s stuff has more of a gritty feel to it,
For sure.
like overall.
Well, and they started just having like sex and violence in movies.
Yeah, the pre-code stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or post-code stuff. Sorry,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
so there was a period in time that I actually didn't really know this, but there was a period in time, you know, you could probably explain it better, but when there literally was a code where the studios basically ran everything, like directors had contracts with studios and actors had contracts with studios and they would only work with that one
Yeah.
studio. And then towards late 60s, early 70s, it started to shift a little bit, and that's when like more artistic stuff started happening with directors, and um, directors just had more control, and that's when you started to see more gritty, dark,
Yep.
violent, sex-filled movies like this.
And someday we'll talk about when that period ended, because
Okay.
that's a fun story too. When
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few. I mean, it was like anything. It's not any one thing, but basically, like pretty much everyone associates the movie Heaven's Gate with being like ending the auteur era.
Okay. I haven't seen that movie yet, so
That's a Criterion too. So we
I've
should
seen
do
it.
it.
I know the cover. It's like a dude, an angel or something. It looks similar to the Wings of Desire cover.
Yeah, can we? There's something that I think we should do for the show, and I don't mind saying it on the show, and I don't care when we do it, but at some point, I think we should just do Barry Lyndon.
Okay. I bought that in the recent sale and I
And
started
you've
watching
never seen
it.
it, right?
I've never I'm pretty sure I saw it like when I was a
Oh,
kid, but I don't
really?
remember.
Well,
It would be
I
like a
yeah,
first time watch, yeah.
yeah. I've never watched it either, and I knew that that was a movie that, where I thought it was a movie that neither of us had either watched, had ever watched, and I was like, we should just do that for the show. It's like a big segment. Maybe it's not a spotlight. I don't know how it works, but like
Yeah.
it's because it's basically a blind buy for both of us. But I think we should both watch it and then
We
do it
could
for the
just
show.
we could just do one bigger blind buy segment where we
Yeah,
both it's both of our blind buy, yeah.
yeah. At some point, we don't have to do it like next episode or something, but I think we should do
Okay.
that
Yeah.
because I
Well, I'm
want to watch
excited
it.
to watch it. We could do it
Yeah.
next episode if you want to.
Okay, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a long blind buy on, yeah,
Okay.
because yeah, on Barry Lyndon, because I've been wanting to watch it. I just have the Blu-ray, but we'll see how it goes. I mean,
Okay.
I will say I know people are making a big deal about this. Me too. I am like so stoked about this Eyes Wide Shut 4K thing.
Oh, yeah,
The
same. Yeah, I love
Criterion
that
announcement.
movie.
That's great. So, final thoughts on Get Carter?
It's a cool, very 70s movie if you like, that kind of it's a gangster movie. It's not that thrilling of a
No,
gangster movie, I would say.
it's
It
kind of
definitely has the
sleazy.
70s.
Yeah,
What's that?
it's kind of sleazy.
It's sleazier too, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into the like grindhouse territory, I would say,
No,
but it's close, I
he's
guess. Yeah.
just kind of a
There,
sleazy guy, really.
yeah. There's some nudity. There's a really fun scene where two other gangsters come in while he's sleeping with a woman, and I thought that was fun. He's like
Yeah,
mid thrust.
yeah, he's slow to recover from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, it wasn't. This wasn't like one that I was like, oh God, Keith is gonna love it. But I just feel like it's one of those. You have to watch it though.
Yeah. I'm glad you and I don't really know that much of like earlier Michael Caine stuff, so it was
Yeah,
cool to see this.
he has a ton. I mean, I've
He-
bought some other like old Michael Caine movies.
Yeah. At
Just
some point we have to do that other one that I told you about, Harry Brown, I think, which is
oh yeah,
cool. He's just like an old man cleaning up the streets kinda. It's cool.
yeah. I'm interested. I love me some Michael Caine, and all the way down to the Muppet Christmas Carol, which Lindsay and I watch every Christmas season.
Okay. All right.
So
Well,
you
that's
good?
probably good, right?
I think so. So
That's it.
congrats to all of our contest winners. We'll see if we
Yeah.
can get you sorted out. Keith will take care
Yeah.
of you. Don't worry.
I'm pretty
And
sure everybody that won was from Instagram, so hopefully you watched the show, but if you didn't, I will still message you all, and we'll figure out who gets what movie, um, or maybe I'll end up buying a couple more movies to send to the second and third winner. I don't know.
we'll do something else again when we get to 500.
Yeah, that's the next goal. 500 subs would be nice, and
Okay.
we're not going to announce anything yet, but we're talking about possibly doing a live stream. We got to figure out the logistics of it, but to celebrate 1 year of the pod
Oh,
/ 1 year of the YouTube channel, yeah, we're thinking about doing maybe a live commentary on a movie that we're both excited about that is getting a pretty cool release coming out soon. I'm not going to say it yet just because if we don't get the logistics figured out, I don't want to like build it up and then have it not happen,
yeah, that's
But
true. That would be fun.
we didn't talk about this yet, but if you're okay with it, Matt, we might have some guests on that show too. I think it might be
Oh
fun
yeah,
to
yeah.
to
Oh,
have some guests.
I'm definitely
if it
open.
happens. We got to figure it out though first, because inside baseball here, but the only people interested in this will be other YouTubers and whatnot. But we use Riverside to record our podcast, but I don't know, like, I haven't played around with like the live functionality of it yet, so we got to figure that part out before we can really make any serious announcement. But
Yeah.
something to
Between
look forward
this,
to.
by the way, Keith, between this segment and my discussion on my travel, we're actually losing subscribers at a
Well,
lightning quick rate.
this is the end of the show, so people will tune out if you need to. Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. Everybody who the new subscribers, thanks for subscribing and checking out the show. Hopefully you're still here. But yeah, and everybody who's been listening from the beginning, you know, the whole reason we did the giveaway was just to say thank you. So thank you again, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Return to Videotech.